Welcome back into Stacking the Box on this Wednesday on Radio Row, live in Las Vegas. Sterling Holmes, my guy Malcom here, unified coverage of the Super Bowl, fan-sided and Special Olympics. Malcom, we're back again, baby.
Yes, we are back again. Sterling, I'm excited for the interviews we're about to embark on.
I mean, we got a lot. We got Justin Pugh coming up in just a moment. Tony Pollard, Quincy Williams, Brandon Bolden, Jay Glazer, James Conner. The list goes on and on. From the first time we talked this morning, favorite guy you interviewed, favorite guy you talked to?
Puka Nacua and Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, honestly, Puka Nacua was very entertaining, outgoing. Always a smile on his face.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a guy who breaks tackles with a smile on his face.
He does, absolutely, sir. He does.
With Michael Penix Jr., too, is cool because after we got off, I went back on Arrowhead Addict and we talked with his teammate, Roma Dunze.
Right.
And it's cool having that Washington connection. It's not like Washington's been this powerhouse. Again, Washington's been good. They've had a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
But this is the first time they've really stepped into that next level.
Right.
College football playoffs, they won a game. They lost in the finals. But again, it was on the backs of Rome and then Michael Penix Jr. And now look at them. Both projected to be first-round draft picks.
Absolutely.
All right, this next little segment, who are you looking forward to most talking to?
I'm looking forward to talking to Jay Glazer, get his thoughts on the game on Sunday, obviously, and, you know, also looking forward to talking to Tony Pollard as well in here, and then the Thunderbirds. I'm excited to talk to them as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting too.
So what all do you know about the Thunderbirds?
They're actually going to be the flyover for the Super Bowl on Sunday.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You big plane guy?
Yes.
Big plane guy?
Yes.
I need that confidence.
I love planes. I love flying.
But see, I don't like heights. You got to help me out here.
I'll give you a tidbit on heights. Sterling. Just don't let down.
Oh wow.
Don't let down.
Thanks, Malcom. Only insight right here, baby. Don't look down.
Don't look down, and always look at your surroundings. You know wherever your surroundings are, just look where you're at.
What'd you do on your break off? What'd you eat?
Chicken sandwich.
Nice.
It was a nice chicken sandwich. Very nice chicken sandwich with pickles in it and fries, and it was delicious, I must say.
Everyone who's listening to Stacking the Box right now, also check out Arrowhead Addict. We are doing stuff on both platforms. Just got off with guys like Shannon Sharp, Roma Dunze, as I mentioned. The list goes on and on. A lot of fun. So check out both Stacking the Box as well as Arrowhead Addict. Day's getting crazier here, man. This morning was a little quiet.
Yeah, now it's starting to pick up now.
I mean, look around. It's loud. We got Carrot Top right there with some phenomenal shoes. Carrot, those are some great shoes. Great shoes. Those are awesome.
I'm digging the shoes as well, Carrot Top.
Those are great. One day, I will get those shoes. One day.
Will you get the same exact size as Carrot Top, though?
I know I should ask if they're tinned or not. Richard, good job getting the shot right there. That right there is professional. Richard. You got to shout out your cameraman sometimes, Malcolm. We got to make sure that Richard and his glorious mustache gets his due. But man, it is pretty crazy the amount of people who were just walking by who are here.
You're just scoping out everybody here at on the row. I mean, it's it's only day 3. It's like it's going to get busier as the week progresses.
Yeah. Yes, it sure will. Sleep, I don't think is going to be a thing, Malcolm.
No, not for me either. Not for me either.
No, it will not be. Again,
definitely.
Everyone's getting wings apparently here. Bounty's handing out a whole bunch of wings. Shout out to Bounty for handing out buffalo wings.
Who doesn't love buffalo wings?
Yeah, Justin Pugh will join us in a moment. I love this comment from Woozy Guy. LMAO, that was random. Carrot Top needs a segment. It's been wild. We've been seeing Carrot Top everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we saw him all yesterday at Media Day. Or no, that was
opening night.
Monday night, opening night.
Opening night. Carrot Top was at opening night as well.
Sorry, the days kind of run together now. I mean, we just talk.
Right.
Just talk, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, as far as some of the things we did not talk about leading up to the Super Bowl, What do you think might be a key? Is there a specific matchup you're looking for? Whether it's L'Jarius Sneed versus Brandon Ayuk, whether
Yeah.
it's George Kittle against the Chiefs linebackers, is there another little matchup you're looking forward to?
For me, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey against that Chiefs, the Chiefs front seven. That to me is going to be the big key. If Christian McCaffrey can find a way to find those holes with the Chiefs against the Chiefs, I mean, it's going to be. I think the Chiefs are going to struggle to slow down Christian McCaffrey. And not to say Christian McCaffrey is going to get over 100 yards, but that to me is going to be a key. If Christian McCaffrey can run between the tackles of those Chiefs defensive players, then I think the Niners will have an awesome game. If Christian McCaffrey can't, then they're going to have to find other ways to get the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key, is getting pressure on Brock Purdy. He has been fairly good under pressure this season, but you're going to have some design pressure. The offensive line of San Fran, while not great, not as good as it has been in the past, is still solid, especially on the left side. The right side, a little easier to get some pressure on. I wonder if we will see a little bit of exotic blitzes yet again from Steve Spagnuolo, whether that's Trip McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Drew Tranquill, Willie Gay, and then again Leo Chenal. Talking to Leo Chenal the other day on opening night, and Leo was enjoying playing a little bit of that edge rusher. Leo Chenal was enjoying getting a chance to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. Again, we probably won't see it outside of maybe a handful of times.
Right.
But again, you don't know, and that is the versatility that the Chiefs' defense possesses player-wise, as well as what Spagnuolo has in his arsenal.
So let me ask you what you asked me, Sterling. Is there any key matchup that you're looking for that we haven't mentioned already?
Probably Ambry Thomas, the third cornerback for San Fran. He's graded out, according to PFF, as one of the worst corners in the playoffs this year. If I were the Kansas City Chiefs, I would try and focus on him. Now, Rashee Rice, going to get his targets. Travis Kelce, going to get his targets, obviously. But whoever is going up against Ambry Thomas is probably the guy I'm tapping at for the Chiefs needs to have at least a solid game. Now, I don't think they need to go out and go for 100-plus yards. I'm not saying they have to even score a touchdown, but they have to have a actual ability to move the chains, whether that's 4 catches for 50, 5 catches for 60, around there. If one Kansas City Chief receiver outside of Rice, outside of Travis Kelce can do that, it's probably going to happen against cornerback Ambry Thomas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Savannah Joy says, I too am concerned about stopping McCaffrey and Juszczyk. I think Juszczyk is an interesting name to throw in there as well.
Yep, it's a wrinkle.
I think the reason why is he is so good as a blocker, while yet also having the ability to line up as a pseudo tight end. When you have the ability to line up as a pseudo tight end, you can have more power packages. He is a guy who will be picking up at least a decent amount. Some of the exotic blitzes, once again, we're talking about that Spagnuolo most likely is going to send.
Do you think Spaz is going to try and blitz, try to make Purdy uncomfortable on Sunday? And I'm sure he is. But do you think he's going to throw the kitchen sink at Purdy, just to make him uncomfortable? You think in your mind, or you think Spaz is going to go a different route here?
Very much so. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Purdy. I think they're going to send a lot of exotic blitzes, whether that's going to be from Willie Gay Jr., Leo Chenal, again Trent, or L'Jarius Sneed. Heck, you might even see a safety blitz from Justin Reed. Justin Reed obviously loves getting downhill. Talk with him on opening night. He's makes it a point to hit hard and hit hard early. Talking with him, I said you were a big reason why the Chiefs' defense has gone from a finesse style of defense to a more physical style of defense.
Right.
Whatever PFF says. I think sometimes you can just look at statistics and not take into the full picture of what a guy brings to the table. And Justin Reed brings the physicality, he brings the tempo, he brings the tone, and he brings the leadership. And I think it's something that, a lot of times PFF can't always track.
Absolutely. I talked to Sean Gibson yesterday at the 49ers media availability yesterday, and he shared a lot about the brotherhood that that he has in the locker room with those guys, and I feel like that to me is going to be important for San Francisco. They have that brotherhood, in the locker room on Sunday, and they just come together and they just, find a way to neutralize Patrick Mahomes. I mean, not to say you're going to slow him down, but if you can neutralize him some way, somehow, I think the Niners, can find a way to move the ball up and down the field against that Chiefs defense.
I'm back looking at Carrot Top shoes. They're great. Great pants, too. I mean, we should just have a camera following Carrot Top the whole time.
Yeah.
A Carrot Top camera. A CTC.
CTC.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think this is what we really need. Savannah goes, it's for targeting Thomas. It'll mean not going to 12, 13 personnel on offense. You won't make the field as much if they go heavy, right? Correct. That is completely correct. If they try going to 12, 13 personnel, that's probably going to mean they're going more of a base package, a 4-3 defense, traditional 2 corners, 2 safeties. So it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game because, again, the Chiefs have been so effective running at a 12 and even 13 personnel. When they get both Noah Gray, Travis, and the occasional Blake Bell on the field at the same time, it really seemingly opens up things for them because teams they're expecting the run.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs can still run out of that even when teams are expecting it, but then all of a sudden, what do you know? Noah Gray gets a 20-yard gain. Travis Kelce does his thing. And
Watson.
oh yeah, don't forget about Watson or Rashad Rice.
Yep.
See a go 49ers in here. We respect you being in here. I cannot give a go 49ers though. Can't do it. I think Malcom can though for you.
Yeah, I'll vouch for you, but I'm still leaning towards the Chiefs. In a really close game. But
Flapjack City says Purdy looked like a deer in headlights Monday night standing next to Mahomes. I get what you're saying. You're talking about opening night, and they're standing almost like a boxing arrangement. They even had the dude who does the introductions for boxing out there. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer out there giving the whole boxing intro right there. It's pretty cool. But you're right.
Cool.
I will say Mahomes has been here. He's been doing this a lot, right? He's been around the block a few times. 4 Super Bowls now in 5 years. Brock Purdy just now getting here. I don't know if I'd say a deer in headlights for Brock Purdy in that moment. But again, you've not been in that moment before. It was wild. It was different. It's unique. Yeah. This 2-week period, I guess now we're in that final week leading up to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's unlike anything these guys go through in a given season.
Right. During a regular season, it's like, you're off for 2 weeks, and now it's going to be okay. Which team's going to come out, guns a-blazing, and which team's going to be like, okay. Like both teams are, they're probably going to fill each other out, obviously, to begin. And then we'll see, like, towards, when the game goes on, like, which team's going to come out, blades a gun in, and which team's going to be like, going to struggle.
Yeah. Again, if the 49ers get behind early, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back. Passing against this Chiefs defense does not happen. You do not get back in the game passing against this Chiefs defense. If you get down, you're out.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Brock Purdy, as great as they've been in the playoffs coming back, that also means they were down at some point.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions defense ain't the same as Kansas City. It's the Packers defense.
This is not the Lions defense. You're playing against a Kansas City defense that has been stout, and I think the Niners are going to have their work cut out for them.
Some news between these two teams. Mahomes says the Chiefs are okay beating the villains as long as it's the price of winning. Mahomes going on to say, I think I just like winning. If you win a lot and that causes you to be a villain, then I'm okay with it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to enjoy playing the game and try to win as much as possible. It's true, because the Chiefs were the fan favorite 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They were the team that everyone was rallying behind, rooting for against the 49ers first time around.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we are, a few years later. Next thing you know, they are the villains.
Right.
They're the hunted. They're the team that 31 other fan bases want to see lose.
Right, and the Chiefs have the biggest target on their back. Because they're trying to repeat as champs, and the last team to do it was the Patriots.
Yeah. Chris Jones, in regards to being labeled the villains, goes on to say, everybody used to love us. We used to be one of the most favorite teams. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's ready for the Chiefs to lose. It's okay. They can continue hating. You call it hate when you win a whole lot. The problem is we haven't won as much as people think. We've only won 2 Super Bowls, right? We only won 2 out of 3. Well, what about 3 out of 4?
4, yeah.
Might make it a little different, huh?
Right. If they win 3 out of 4, maybe, it'll silence those, it'll silence the doubters. It'll silence the haters as well, too.
I will say Eric Bieniemy, who was let go by the Commanders in the overarching firing, right? Mm-hmm. The Commanders kind of burning down the house right now. Actually visited the Chiefs during this playoff run. He paid a visit to the Chiefs before the AFC Championship game against the Baltimore Ravens, sat in on meetings and talked with various offensive players, including Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes' quote says, "It's always great to have EB in the building, just being there and the energy that he brings and the mentality that he brings. He loves being there. He loves being a part of the team and being a part of that culture." What do you think, man? EB sounds like the head coaching opportunity is not going to be there.
Yeah.
Now he went from the OC at Kansas City thinking like it was going to be a chance for him to upgrade his ability to get a head coaching position when he went to become the OC in Washington.
Right.
That didn't happen. He's now out of a job. Where does Eric Bieniemy go from here?
I would love for him to go back to Kansas City. Just the way he was able to run that offense. Even, not even as an OC, but at least as a consultant to help, to help the guys, just give them like advice on, on how to be successful, like run the football and those type of things. But I would love for him to come back as a consultant at least.
My question is, where does he go? Because is he going to be the OC? No, because Matt Nagy's still there. So unless you're firing Matt Nagy in a year that you go to the Super Bowl, don't get me wrong, the offense took a step back, but I find it very difficult to all of a sudden say, you know what? Let's can the guy. Now, it's not unheard of.
Right.
It wasn't to a Super Bowl, but you saw Bob Sutton get canned in an AFC Championship game, but that was a long time coming.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here going, I think Eric Bieniemy might come back to Kansas City, but what type of role is that going to be? And by the way, you're probably looking at a step back. That would be a pretty brutal blow, I think, confidence-wise, when you were already the OC here. Right. You go to Washington and try and upgrade yourself. Gets downgraded, and then now you lose your spot here in KC. It's
in Washington, it didn't work out for him.
Interesting spot to be in.
What's your thoughts on on Bieniemy? Like where do you see him? Like, what do you think, Sterling?
Yeah, man. It's a good question. I think you're probably looking at an OC job. I mean, maybe he does come out to Kansas City, but again, you won't be the OC here. So it's going to come down to what he wants. Does he want to go back to what's fun, what's comfortable, or try something new? Getting joined now by Tony Pollard, running back for the Dallas Cowboys.
How you doing,
Tony? How you doing?
Doing good.
I like the little red outfit there. That's nice. Nice jacket right there.
Appreciate it.
All right, so you're here with Sleep Number. What do you got going on with Sleep Number?
Been partnered with Sleep Number for a while now. It's just the effect that it has on your game. It's hard to ignore it. So just partnering with them, it just was a no-brainer for me, because sleep is like any nutritionist that comes in and talks to us. The first thing that they'll bring up to us is sleep, like how that's the biggest form of recovery.
Yeah.
So just keeping that in mind, it was a no-brainer.
Man, I'm jealous because I need a Sleep Number bed. Just in Vegas. We're obviously here in Vegas. A little interesting, right? You don't sleep a whole bunch here. I woke up this morning like a pinched nerve in my back. I need me a Sleep Number. I need to find my number.
Yeah, Sleep Number, they can fix that. They can get that right for you.
Hey, Tony, what's it like playing with Dak?
I don't even know how to explain it. I guess it's normal to me. I've been playing with him since I've been drafted. I've been with him since day one, so it's a normal day for me playing with Dak.
For you, you've now had back-to-back seasons over 1,000 yards on the ground. 1,000 yards is still the benchmark for a really good running back. And what's interesting is you look at this year, not as many 1,000-yard rushers, but still there you are on that list. What's that like for you to get to that benchmark?
That means a lot. I have to give thanks to the trainers, at Dallas, Britt, working with him, Britt Hansen, those guys, getting me back right, rehabbing. And, just being able to push through with coming off of a broken leg, torn ligaments in the ankle, and still do that, that was big.
Yeah, how are you able to do that? I mean, just the recovery process of that. I always find it interesting. I know sometimes as fans and media, we hear injuries, we hear torn ACL, you hear the recovery, but you don't know what it's really like to go through that. What's it like going through that to try and get back to football shape?
It's a grind. It's a nonstop grind. There's no off season. I got hurt in the playoff game, so our season was done after that. I got surgery like a day later, and then after that, I went straight to treatment, to rehab, to hitting it and getting it back at it. So it was a nonstop grind.
So you played at Memphis in college. What's the difference with you being running back at Memphis to the NFL? What's that transition like? What's the difficult part about transitioning from college to being an NFL type running back?
I would say the scheme is a big difference from college to the league to where I am now. College, we were more of a spread offense, like to run the ball out of the shotgun a lot, things like that. Every once in a while we would get some runs on the center, but it wasn't often. And in the league, I feel like it's more under center runs. Well, it's really more balanced at this point. It's more towards the balance side of it. So, just those little differences in the scheme.
15, 28, 39, 39, 55. Can you guess those numbers? Something to do with your career.
Say it again.
15, 28, 39, 39, then 55. That's your receptions from your rookie year into now. You're known as one of the best receiving backs in the NFL as well. You're balanced, right? What do you bring to the table when you get the ball in your hands? Because you are so explosive. Do you almost prefer to be a pass-catching back at times compared to the grind on the ground?
It's just with open space, it's possibilities are endless. You make one or two moves, make a guy miss, and it's off to the races. So, it's definitely, it has its pros and cons, but yeah, I would say it's pretty fun out there on the outside getting the ball in space.
You obviously had a nice tandem with Ezekiel Elliott, right? Then he's gone. Now you're the number one guy in charge. What was that transition of power almost? What did that look like for you?
Being more responsible with my body, doing more treatment, doing more things beforehand, before an issue comes about. Just staying on top of things, getting massages, getting body work like that throughout the week to make sure, I'm good to go for the week and be able to play the entire season.
Yeah. Is there a player that you try to model your game after?
Growing up, I wanted to be like Reggie Bush. That was the player that I looked at and wanted to model my game by.
That's a good one, man.
Good.
Reggie Bush is always the guy. It's never a bad answer. Do you have a Mount Rushmore? A Mount Rushmore of all-time running backs?
I haven't made my own, but I don't know. Are we saying like
all time? You can do anyone you want.
College,
pros, NFL, anyone you want.
Anyone you want.
I would go. What is Mount Rushmore? Is it four heads or?
Yeah, four heads.
Four heads, yes.
I'm gonna go Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Marshall Faulk.
Nice.
And he had a short career, but I feel like if he was healthy, it would have been one of those, Bo Jackson.
Oh, man. Well, you're talking to a guy who's from Kansas City. Yeah, I love me some Bo Jackson. I know he's a Raider, but he also was a Kansas City Royal, too.
Yeah, he was a Kansas City Royal, absolutely. What's the hardest and easiest part of being a running back, Tony?
The hardest part, I would say, being able to take the punishment day in, day out throughout the course of a season. The easiest part, I would say, is what's the easiest part?
Ain't no easy part.
Ain't no easy part being running back, I can tell.
Damn. I would say the
having your sleep number bed.
The fun part would probably be the touchdown celebration and getting the attention. So
you got a favorite touchdown dance that you do in the end zone?
Nah, I ain't never been a big dancer. I was old school, laid back. Try to act like I done been here before. So
When it comes to Jerry Jones, he's obviously the most unique owner probably in the NFL. He's the most hands-on, right? What's it like having him as the owner of the team?
I mean, it's different for sure.
Yeah.
You get used to it after a while. You get used to the attention, the media that comes around with him, and just his presence being a Dallas Cowboy. You get used to the media, you know, just all of it. So it's a great experience having a guy like him coaching. I mean, the owner. I mean, you know, he pops in for practices every once in a while. But randomly, he may just drop in on a helicopter, and then you'd be like, "Oh, that's Jerry." So
it's Jerry's world, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes to, go ahead, Mike.
I want to ask your thoughts about the game on Sunday, Tony. What's your? Let's talk a little bit about the game on Sunday between the Niners and Chiefs. So, you know, give me your thoughts on that.
It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a good game, but I can't go against Mahomes. I can't.
It's a good answer right there,
Tony. I can't go against Mahomes, man.
It's a good answer right there. In regards to Mike McCarthy, what does he bring? Obviously, he brought the Super Bowl pedigree when he came down to Dallas. The regular seasons have been really, really good. What does he bring, and what do the Cowboys need to do to get over that hump?
I mean, he brings, you know, him being from Philly, it's a certain vibe, a certain energy he gives off that's contagious to the team. And, you know, just him bringing that energy and, you know, just bringing physicality to the team, you know, just making sure that all the guys are, you know, ready to go on game day. You know, he's a great coach. I would say he's a player's coach.
Yeah.
You know, so someone that, you know, the players would definitely love to have be their coach.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite restaurant you like to eat in Dallas?
Ooh, it's so many steakhouses. you got D. Lincoln's, you got Del Frisco's, you got Perry's, STK. I can't even I don't know which one the best. All of them good.
What was it like for you? Obviously, you were born in Memphis, and then you played college football at Memphis. What was it like playing for your hometown?
I mean, it was big, you know, just being fortunate enough to be home, you know, by my family, so not having to worry about anything or being homesick or anything like that. Having a community behind me that I grew up with, you know, guys that's been watching me play since Little League, still able to watch me play in college, so it was a great experience for me, and just making the most out of my opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I looked at it.
I've seen a few games down there. I'm a Mizzou guy, so every once in a while I go down there, you know, watch a game.
I would love to go to Memphis and see a game at the Liberty Bowl. I've never been to a college football game in Memphis, Tennessee. I would love to check it out.
Got to go to Beale Street too.
Yeah, go to Beale Street.
Come down there and check us out.
I would love to check it out in Memphis.
Where have you grown the most from year one until now? Where do you think your game has grown the most?
I don't know. That's the hard question. I feel like in every phase I've grown. I feel like just in my IQ, my football IQ has grown over the time, just evolving, just getting better over time, over the years. My vision has gotten better. I would say patience, running the ball over time has gotten better, and definitely pass blocking, you know, just getting reps at it, getting better at it over time, and then just trying to perfect it.
Yeah, just so you know, everyone out here is saying you're looking good, and we wish that you were a Kansas City Chief. They said so. Just so you know, you got some people out here. They want you to be a Chief. As far as the running back matchup in the Super Bowl, obviously Isaiah Pacheco, very physical running style, the high knees. I mean, ain't no chance I want to tackle that. I'm getting my chiclets knocked out if I do. And McCaffrey's a little different, right? He's physical. He's all around.
Yeah.
What do you see from those two guys?
Those two very productive running backs, two impactful players that you want on your team. They both bring a lot to the table, but they're completely different in their styles. McCaffrey's more of a smooth runner, still explosive, able to burst through and make plays and still have that home run speed. And I would say Pacheco is more of a physical runner. Looks as if he's almost running towards the contact. It just looks like somebody that you don't want to tackle when he runs the ball. So, yeah.
I will say again, everyone is pointing out they want to draft you in fantasy next year. So you got that. You got a lot in your back, just so you know. Everyone's saying they want to draft you in fantasy, or they said that you killed them whenever you played them in fantasy. So does it ever feel good for you hearing that? I know you probably don't care that much about it, but does it ever feel good when you're like, yeah, man, I did pretty good in fantasy this year. I helped y'all out.
I mean, it's always good getting that positive reinforcement. You just have to know to limit it. yourself and not let it get to your head. Just stay neutral and just stay grinding.
Yeah. Tony Pollard, running back for the Dallas Cowboys, working here with Sleep Number. One more time, talk about Sleep Number.
Yeah, Sleep Number, it was a no-brainer partnering for me. Just the importance that sleep has on your direct effect in the game. If you're not getting your sleep properly at night, it's definitely going to affect you on the field. So just knowing that, it was a no-brainer for me to partner with Sleep Number. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks,
Really
Tony,
the time,
so
man.
much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, man. Take it easy.
Yep.
Have fun this week. Tony Pollard right there, running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Man, it's been he's had a really nice career. He's gone from a backup and then all the way into, a split timeshare with Ezekiel Elliott. And then now all of a sudden, he's the guy, he's the dude, he's the bell cow. Going over 1,000 yards now in 2 straight years.
I loved how he talked about how he's from Memphis. He got to go to Memphis to play in college, and that's what really impressed me.
Awesome. Getting joined now by Quincy
good?
Williams.
It's good.
Quincy, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Quincy? Yes, sir.
I know you're here right here with the American Cancer Society Crucial Catch Ambassador.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them?
So with Crucial Catch, the biggest thing. So wait. I bet. Here we go. I had a lot of, you feel me? I had a lot of talking points. You feel me? I got kind of excited, man. For real. But the biggest thing, man, it hit home for me. So as soon as I got drafted, bro, I wanted to use my platform for something bigger. You feel me? So like, first thing that came to mind was the Crucial Catch thing. So using my platform with my cleats and things like that, just to bring awareness to the importance of like getting screening during breast cancer and things like that. Just because like a lot of people, you can live with it and not even know it, and then catching it early is very important, you feel me? So it hit home with me very big because my mom passed of breast cancer, so me and my brother partnered with the American Cancer Society. We do a lot of things, go to the hospital, hang out and stuff like that, go on like little trips and stuff like that. Also sit in therapy sessions too, though. Cool. So like the mental health is very, very big on for us too, though. So like, the person who's going through it is very important too, and then those guys that your family members and stuff like that. So like, how can you do the help type thing? So, so like just that. Awesome.
You got it, Malcom.
Yeah, Sterling. Quincy, your brother plays for the Jets.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's amazing because you got a person who can hold you accountable that also knows your background but also knows your why too, though. So it's amazing though. So you know how like your teammates are your brothers. I actually got a real brother on there too, though. But I try to have that same chemistry that I got with my brother with all my other teammates too, though. So like easy to talk to, constructive criticism is very big because once you hear like how you doing and what you need to do from your peers is very big.
Yeah, you and your brother were the backbone of the defense this year, and the Jets had one of the best defenses in the NFL yet again. How have you guys been able to play so well together? It's probably kind of nice. He's on the defensive line.
He play right in front of me, for real.
You got that
we
right.
We talk about it all the time. I be like, hey, bro, just keep them clean for me, bro. Just keep the D lineman off me, and I'm going to make sure I can make sure I'm going to cover long enough that you can get your sack. So we talk and laugh and joke about it all the time.
Man, you also just had a breakout year. It feels like this was a breakout year for you, man. What clicked?
The biggest thing is I wanted to buy in and get my stamp. I wanted that All-Pro, so I got it this year also.
Yeah.
So like having that mindset of like if it ain't gonna get me closer to being All-Pro, I don't want to do it. It was a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, but I had to like ask myself like this gonna get me to my next level. You feel me? So I ain't do it. But the important thing was that health though. So like that eating healthy, that joint hard. Like. Them cheap meals that I be praying for them days. You only get one a week, but I be looking forward to them.
So Quincy, what did the team do to adjust after losing Aaron Rodgers?
So that day was actually kind of crazy. So like leading up to it, we had Hard Knocks. The whole offseason was lit. You feel me? Training camp was lit. Now it's game day. We prime time. Oh, let's go. You feel me? So we excited. You feel me? Damn. We actually did my first chance, a Hall of Fame. Let's say gold jacket. Let's see, gold jacket. Aaron Rodgers play. You feel me? I'm on the sideline with it. So going into the game, he run out of the tunnel. It's amazing. I mean, crowd going crazy. Like, then leading up to it, man, 4 plays in, we see him on the ground. We like, hey, who that is? They was like, hey, that's 8. We was like, oh, hold on now. So he got back up, ran another play, then he was actually out. So it was one of those things where, like, we didn't know what was going on. So it was like, hey, let's keep a manageable game. So when he come back, you know, he can just take over. You know, just hold a manageable game. But when we found out what actually happened, it was, you know, it was down Spears at first, but then it was one of those things was like, hey, nothing changes just because, like, you know, that happened. He was the one who said it. He was like the standard is still the standard.
Sure.
So that's our biggest thing.
When it comes to next year, obviously, this upcoming season, though, it has to be pretty fun feeling getting him back now, hopefully for the full season. I mean, how exciting is this offseason for you guys, especially the defense?
We looking forward to, like, we're going to build off last year, #1 defense. So that was a big thing in some of the categories or whatever. So we want to, like, lead no doubt to 2024. That's our mindset. So, like, lead no doubt for us, like, the off season where y'all hearing, like, the hype and stuff like that. Yeah. During the season, our mindset is just, like, focus on going 1-0 and then actually, like, living up to it.
Got to hit the JETS.
Yeah, you feel me?
JETS. So talk about the atmosphere at MetLife. What's that experience like? I mean,
man, it's amazing
as a player.
So look, if we in New York, so like the stadium's in New York, but we're gonna say the New York Jets. You feel me? The stadium's in New Jersey, but we're gonna say New York Jets.
The Jersey Jets sounds pretty darn cool, though, right?
Jersey Jets. I don't know. I like New York, though, bro. I'm be honest with you. Especially because, bro, it's just so much to do in New York, like the media and stuff like that, bro. The games be lit. The games be lit, though. Like, it be a lot of fun out there. Like, our primetime games, they felt like primetime games, bro. Like we in the middle of the game or whatever, like timeout come, they'll shut the lights off. They got, like, little people with bracelets on, laying up and stuff. Like, bro, it was a lot of fun to play around, bro. For real.
I know you guys play the Chiefs this year, right?
Yep.
Actually, a really close game. They're here in the Super Bowl right now.
Beat the Eagles, you feel me? So it's like, hey.
Yeah, makes you the green. The green's for the Jets, not the Eagles right there. What was the hardest part about going up against a guy like Patrick Mahomes in this Chiefs offense?
Well, I ain't even gonna say quarterback though. I'm gonna take it to somebody, bro, who a workhorse for real. Pacheco.
Yeah.
For real. Going against him, that boy a workhorse for real. Like, he a hard runner, and he one of those guys with, like, short yards or something like that. You know, they mostly gonna get to Kelsey or something like that.
Yeah.
But he changed the game where it's like, hey, let's run the ball. Like, let's run the ball. He a very hard runner and stuff too. He one of my favorite running back, top running back. My dog Breece Hall up there first, of course.
Yeah.
Then I got Christian McCaffrey, but Pacheco, and then I got Josh Jacobs up there too, though. So like going against him, it was good. You feel me? But then your boy gonna do his thing.
Yeah. Did you have any players did you have any favorite players growing up?
Favorite player growing up was Brian Dawkins, off the top. Brian Dawkins, Cam Chancellor. So I played safety at first, and I like those big hit type players, so that's how I played. You feel me? So I was looking at people like Brian Dawkins, Cam Chancellor, Ray Lewis, you feel me? CJ, awesome. The crazy part, CJ Mosley. I used to watch CJ Mosley film during college, and then I actually got a chance to play with him, bro.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's
You're
awesome.
like, dude, I saw you.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first got into the meeting room, you know, I tried to act cool. I'm like, bro, I'm going to be playing next to you like I'm Quincy Williams. And I said, bro, let me just take the moment out, bro. I watch all your film, bro. Let me take the moment, bro. I watch all your film, bro. Bro, you be balling, bro.
What's it like with Robert Saleh? I think Robert Saleh is a phenomenal head coach. I love what he did, obviously, with San Fran. You know, he helped revitalize that defense over there.
Yeah, but the reason why, bro, because he a real person, bro. He be honest with you. Like, if you having a bad game, bad practice, he'll let you know, like, hey, they're going to get us beat. Like, he one of them, he ain't going to sugarcoat nothing with you, though. So, like, keeping him having a standard made us have a standard, too, though. And then, so, like, it trickled down. So, like, it wasn't he ain't no joking around type quarterback, but not quarterback, but coach. Coach. He ain't no joking around type head coach.
So we're here at, you know, obviously we got the game on Sunday between the Chiefs and Niners. Talk a little bit about the matchup and what do you expect?
So you want a little bit of the inside scoop?
Yeah, a little bit.
You want a little bit of the inside scoop. You feel me? So I'm rocking with the 49ers.
It's going to make him happy. He's a
You
Niners
feel
guy.
me?
He's
I'm
a
rocking
Niners
with the
guy right
49ers.
Yes.
Now you looking for the key points. So my key points on that 49ers, boom, I'm going stacked offense, and they led by a person. I'm gonna say led because he ain't been getting the recognition he need to be getting. Brock Purdy, bro.
Yeah.
That man is a play-making quarterback, bro. Like he be like he a game manager. I don't care, bro. He making plays, bro. He make all the people around him. He put it all together. He like the glue to it, like like. For real. So
is that what a lot of the players think about Brock Purdy? Because I know a lot of times.
No, he a playmaker, for real. He a playmaker. Like,
I find it interesting because like a lot of times the media, the fans, they have different viewpoints about different guys, right?
Man, we be playing against that, man. We be on the field with them. Like, we ain't looking at no statistics. We ain't looking at no on the film. We like, in the moment, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, in the moment, like, at the speed, like, when you behind the clicker, you just sitting there chilling. I'm talking about, like, when you got somebody like Quincy Williams breathing down your neck, finna, like, hit you, like, what you gonna do? He may play.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Just again, one more time, you're doing stuff right now. American Cancer Society, Crucial Catch Ambassador. Where can folks go to get more information about this?
More information, I don't even know the website. I'm going to be honest with you.
Everyone get checked out, though.
You feel me? Everybody get checked out. Go to your nearest doctor, ask them about the screening. It's very, very important. You feel me? So that's the very, very important part, for real.
Yeah. Final one here. Did you guys actually think Aaron Rodgers at one point was going to come back? I know he talked about it a lot. You know, he's going on Pat McAfee all the time.
Yep.
Talks about trying to come back. Did you guys ever have an inkling that he actually was, or is that a little bit more behind-the-scenes stuff?
The main thing was we wanted him to come back healthy and confident. So, like, right after surgery, he was trying to walk. So it's like, it's one of those things where you're like, hey, slow down, you know, let's make sure you're good. Like, we trust you and stuff like that. But make sure when we get you back, we got you all the way back, not like halfway back. Like, we good, you feel me? So it's just like trusting your teammates, you feel me? Like, I want the best for him. Like, I want to win, but hey, I want the best for you too, though.
Yeah. Quincy Williams, again, Jet right here,
hey,
man.
Thanks for having me,
This
man.
is awesome, man. I'm really happy for you guys, for you playing with your brother. I mean, that's so cool. I'm excited for you guys next year. I mean, the Jets, I think, have a really good team. They have a good chance. AFC's deep, but when you get a defense like that.
Yeah. So we're going to get a couple more pieces and stuff like that this offseason. I think all our coaches and stuff are back. Coaching staff going to be back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Quincy. I really appreciate that. Hey, take it easy, man. Again, he's going from Beale Street to right here in Vegas, baby. He knows. This man's gonna know how to do. From Beale Street to New York to Vegas. Oh man, that's a big city, man. Right? That's gonna have some fun. Okay, we'll have Justin Pugh next. Jay Glazer a little bit later. He got pushed back. Justin Pugh coming up next. Getting a few comments, questions right here in the chat. Man, we got some Niners, Chiefs fans. Hey, ELE, y'all. ELE. It's a stack in the box. We love everyone.
Yeah.
We love everyone here. We, you know, if you're a Niner fan, you're welcome here.
Yep.
You're welcome here. Yeah, Flapjack, I did ask that. I didn't even see that. So you're going to ask the dude, did everyone in the locker room really believe Rodgers was coming back this season? There you go, man. You just got got your answer. Yeah, that was an interesting situation. I actually really feel for those defensive players because they were on the field so much. They were so excited because the defense was electric the year prior.
Yeah.
The defense was so good, but the offense just like, if they got a quarterback, they were going to take that next step. I truthfully thought that when Aaron Rodgers became a Jet, I go, they are a legit threat.
Sterling, the Jets have a championship-level defense, but it's their offense that's just anemic at times where it's like, they're going to do something, but then it's like, okay, Zach Wilson is like so hesitant to throw the football and not get it to your playmakers like Sauce Gardner and those guys. I mean, even Wilson, like getting those playmakers. I mean, the Jets have a championship-level defense. It's just their offense that needs to be better.
Yeah, and that's why I think if you are a Jet player right now, you'd see how palpable his excitement was for next season.
Right.
You see what it means when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Again, whatever your thoughts are on Rodgers, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Absolutely.
We saw what he did his last year in Green Bay. Fine, I get it. May have been a little down.
Right.
That's still good enough to take them at least to the playoffs. So if you are a Jet, if you are a player, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I think you got to be pretty damn excited. We're going from New York to New York
now.
from Jet to Giant.
Justin Pugh.
No, I don't. The Jets don't bother me one bit. My guy Nate Hackett, the offensive coordinator, I got to cheer for him a little bit, even though they're the crosstown rivals.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Obviously, Justin, you're here with LVIII. What are you guys doing with LVIII?
Yeah, so obviously I partnered up with LVIII. So I played against the Buffalo Bills earlier this year. I was sitting on my couch. I was sitting on my LVIII, the new stealth technology. I got speakers in the couch, subwoofers. I just had a baby 2 weeks ago. My in-laws.
Congratulations, by the way.
Justin.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have my in-laws. It turned into a queen-size bed. It does it all. I was real comfortable. I didn't want to get off the couch, but the Giants called me and said, hey, we need you to come play in Sunday Night Football. So I do the player intro, and instead of saying Justin Pugh Syracuse, I say Justin Pugh straight off the couch. And everyone was asking me, they're like, what couch were you sitting on? I was like, I was sitting on a LVIII. And that's how the partnership was born.
Can you say anything you want on those intros as far as, obviously you said, I'm not anything.
Within reason. I was going to say, within reason.
Because it used to always be, your college, and then it went to the U, and then it went to high school, and then you hear elementary, and now straight off the couch.
I think if within reason, if you're having fun with it, everything's fair game. It allows us to show our personality. Offensive linemen, that's all we get before they call us for a hold or we show us that we let up a sack. So the fact that I could have one moment to make everybody laugh, that shows everyone who I am.
What was that like, man, getting that call? Like, hey, we need you now.
Yeah.
Come on back.
It all kind of was serendipitous because the Cardinals, the Giants came out to play the Cardinals. I live in Arizona right now. They had an injury to the left guard, and they called me, hey, we're in your backyard. Would you want to come try out for the team? So I went down to Arizona State where they were practicing because they're playing the 49ers the next week. So they were staying in Arizona that week. I do a workout, show them I'm healthy. I had tore my ACL the previous season. And then from there, they're like, all right, we saw you work out. You look great. Come be on our practice squad. We're not going to guarantee you a dime. And I went and I played on the practice squad at first. Then I got called up, played in that Bills game, and then got a deal done.
Nice, man.
I'm like an everyday guy, just sitting on his couch, drinking a beer, and then playing on Sunday Night Football the next week.
It was like Matt Moore was a high school football, and they're like, all right, we need a backup quarterback. Matt Moore, come on through.
Exactly. It's easy. Just give the Giants a call when you're sitting on the couch. Make sure it's a LVIII, and then they're going to sign you.
Boom.
Hey, Justin, speaking of Syracuse, you played at Syracuse University. What was it like to play in the Carrier Dome? What was it like?
It's unbelievable. I mean, when it's rocking and we were winning my last few years when we were at Syracuse, you can't hear anything. And it prepares you for the NFL because the NFL is loud. But the diehard fans up in Central New York, most people are familiar with the Bills Mafia. A lot of those same fans are Syracuse fans. You get up there for a football or a basketball game and it gets rocking. It is a hostile environment. And my Syracuse Orange are looking good. We just got a transfer from Ohio State. We're getting transfers from Alabama. It is a good time to be an Orange fan.
Well, also Tommy DeVito, he went to Syracuse, right?
A little gabagool, man.
You got that right.
Of course.
What was that like? Obviously, didn't lap over at all as far as your time at Syracuse.
I'm a little bit older.
Just a couple years. But still, it's kind of got to have a little fun to have your alumni on your team, and now starting quarterback.
I was cheering for him when he was the quarterback at Syracuse, and then we both started on the practice squad, and we were in the scout team huddle, and he was running the quarterback for the scout team. And I walk in there, and I'm 11 years in. I played 100-plus games in the NFL, started them all. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, guys, you're a bunch of young guys. Like, all right, everyone make sure we break the huddle. My big thing is everyone get in here tight, we're a team, and then we're going to break the huddle as loud as we can. It all starts with intimidation, like the Little Giants, the movie.
Sure.
I believe that's how you win football games. So I get in there, and I'm hyping the guys up, and then all of a sudden this little Italian guy walks in. He's like, what's up, guys? We're going to run this play. And I'm like, who is this 23-year-old? And lo and behold, 4 weeks later, he's a starting quarterback for the New York Giants and playing great.
Yeah, the Little Giants with Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis.
Yep.
In '94.
I stole a little line from him. Hey, it's all right.
It's okay, a little bit.
We're the Little Giants are the big Giants.
Wow. Who's the toughest lineman you had to face this season? Who was the toughest in your mind?
Aaron Donald, bar none. Aaron Donald's the best defensive lineman. He's a game wrecker. He's a game changer. I hate him and love him all at the same time because without him, they wouldn't be paying guards what they're paying guards. So he is our generation's Lawrence Taylor. He's changed the game for the better for everyone except offensive guards.
Sure.
And he does an unbelievable job. So he's definitely the best.
Yeah, you see Joe Tooney get that contract, you're like, thanks, Aaron Donald. Thank you.
100%.
When it comes to the offensive line, what separates good offensive linemen from great offensive linemen? What allows a guy to play as long as you've played in the NFL?
It's not one guy, it's 5 guys. And that is the biggest difference between a good offensive lineman and a great offensive lineman. When you love the guys you play with and you know where they're from and their story and what they like to do and the charities they support, you play harder for that guy. It's just like in the real world.
Sure.
If you are working with somebody and you have a great relationship, it makes it easier to work with them.
Right.
And that's the gelling of the offensive line is what makes them look so good. And if you play for a while with each other, like this Chiefs offensive line or former Giants offensive lines that had so much success, they loved each other, they ate dinner with each other, so that's where I think it kind of separates the two, good to great.
So how was it to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Celebrity Edition, huh?
How did you find that one? That is unbelievable. So I work with Shriners Hospitals for Children and got selected to go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I got to go on the show, and I'm nervous as heck because I don't, if you get asked a question that's easy and you don't know it, you're going to embarrass yourself.
Right.
Terry Crews is the host at the time, and we drive up there, and we go to the show, and all of a sudden, I'm down to my last lifeline, and I have $10,000 for the charity, and the question is like a question about an actor in a movie, and I don't know the answer, and I'm like, Terry Crews is like, well, you have $20,000 if you walk away, $10,000 if you guess wrong, it goes down to $10,000.
Sure,
He's like,
sure.
Why don't you just guess and you make up the difference? You donate the extra $10,000. So Terry Crews is like, just pick one. And I'm like, well, I know it's not C, and it was like whatever the guy's name was. That ends up being the answer. So the only one I eliminated myself was the answer. I get booted off the show. Terry Crews, I bucked up and paid the difference.
He put you on the spot.
What was I going to say? I'm not going to give money to charity. Come on,
I'm done.
So Terry Crews, if you're out there, you still owe me $10,000.
Still owes you $10K, huh?
Come on, Old Spice.
As far as the Chiefs tackles go, it was obviously well documented their penalties this season.
Yeah.
As an offensive lineman, I think specifically I'll go with Jawan Taylor here. He went from Jacksonville. It wasn't obviously quite as televised. The Jags aren't the same echelon right now as the Chiefs are. All of a sudden he comes to Kansas City, flag. And a lot of it was stuff he was still doing in Jacksonville. What does that do mindset-wise for an offensive lineman? You're like, I'm doing the same thing I've always done, and all of a sudden now I can't do it?
Well, I can speak to that to a T. My first game against Buffalo, I didn't know the silent cadence, and it's so nuanced. The center puts his head between his legs, and he brings it up, and as soon as he brings his head up, he snaps the ball. So the tackle looks in, and as soon as the center brings his head up, he turns and sets to try to block the defensive end. Let's start with, we're going backwards, and Von Miller and Khalil Mack and Bosa get to go forwards. It's not a fair fight.
No.
They're more athletic. We don't know where the quarterback is. They have every advantage. So the one thing that we try to get is snap count. And if Jawan's gotten away with it for the last 5-6 years, now all of a sudden he did get away with it the first game, and the whole world went crazy. So, of course, Lane Johnson gets it all the time in Philadelphia, too. But if it's split second, the rest give us a split second. So penalties are part of it. You only talk about offensive linemen when they get penalized. Our job is so freaking hard. Cut us some slack here, NFL, but everyone wants to see production. They want to see their favorite DN get a sack. So I feel for those guys because it is such a tough position.
Go ahead, Malcolm.
So you mentioned linemen as being the toughest position in the NFL. What's so tough about it, and what's the easiest part?
The toughest part is it's 5 guys working as one. So if I do my job or I don't do my job and the other 4 guys do, we look bad. If one guy lets up a sack, it looks like the offensive line is. I will say defensive back is probably the hardest position, then offensive line. We're in very similar boats.
Right.
Defensive backs, you're working in conjunction with the whole field, though. We're only in like a tight phone booth. So both of those are very tough. The hardest part is when you're down in the game, they know you're going to throw it, and it's just one-on-one pass rush.
Right.
And all those guys have to do is beat you once, and they have a Hall of Fame career. You get beat once a game for a sack, you're getting fired, you're going back to the love sack, sitting on the couch. The best part is when you're up in a game and you get to run the ball, and they can't stop it. That's the best part.
Steve Spagnuolo is very unique in the way he blitzes.
Yeah.
What does that do for an offensive lineman having to try to adjust? Obviously now you're not just worried about
Chris Jones,
now you have to worry about Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed, Willie Gay Jr., all these guys. Hell, they'll send a safety sometimes. What's that do for an offensive lineman?
Yeah, you lose sleep over it. And I had Spags in New York. He actually was the interim head coach when I was there my last season. So I know him very well. He's He gives offensive coordinators sleepless nights time and time again. He's going to have a plan to stop the run game of San Francisco, because if San Fran starts running the ball, it could be a long day because they'll keep Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines.
Yep.
So it starts this mind battle, but Shanahan's also one of the best, if not best play caller in the NFL. That's the matchup right there.
Do you have an X factor outside of Mahomes or Purdy? Who you think is going to really have a big impact in this game on Sunday?
Here we go. Trent Williams, left tackle. Maybe the best left tackle of all time. He is dominant in the run game. So be alert on the must-have-it situations. 49ers running to the left behind Trent Williams. The dude is a beast. I think he wins a Super Bowl, retires on top.
All right, someone in the comments asked a hand size check. They say you have some massive hands. Oh man, I don't know if I like this.
Wow.
Oh, dude, Malcom.
Well, hold on.
Wait, Malcom out here has some mitts, and we had no idea.
Yeah.
All right, now you're going to come play offensive line for the New York
now you're
Giants
offensive
next
line.
year. Come on
dude,
now.
like, I mean,
Come on now.
that's just. And I'm laughing because we always do the you know when they do the quarterback combines
Yep.
and you see the hands. So I got 9-inch hands, which is normal size. That's Joe Burrow size.
Speaking of Giants,
Look at that. I mean,
well,
the-
me and
Malcolm's
Malcolm
got-
shake hands.
Yeah.
We're all the way up to
It's-
forearm right there. We
Yeah.
ain't messing
I'm
around.
telling you, Justin, like Giants-wise, I've never been to a Giants game, and I used to live in New York, but I never got a chance to really go to a Giants game.
Malcolm, you're killing me. You're killing me.
At MetLife, never. Not even.
All right, how about
close.
this? You come to a game next year. I'm on the team. We'll get you to a game. But if not, we just heard FIFA, the World Cup, the final at MetLife Stadium. Like, that's a good time to get to there as
I
well.
would love to come to a game next year.
All right, perfect. Just tell Joe Shane, re-sign me. We can get everyone to a game over here.
Absolutely.
Joe Shane, you better resign him. If you don't, Malcolm's going to be sad.
Look at
You
those
make him
hands. Look at
sad?
those hands, Joe.
With these hands, Joe, I'm going to be disappointed.
He might play left guard. Maybe no right tackle. He'll go with you.
Perfect.
Same side. Same size.
Absolutely.
You'll get his back.
Absolutely.
All right, final question, because I always find this interesting. You talked about the offensive production, how hard it is to be an offensive lineman, and it feels like they don't get the love they deserve. I've joked about this, and now it's coming to a serious thought I have. There needs to be a fantasy football for offensive linemen. I honestly think it would get people more involved and more intrigued about the offensive line.
So are we starting it right now? Let's start it right now.
I believe this firmly, because the offensive line, without a good offensive line, your team's it's toast. You're done.
Yep.
And again, you mentioned you don't get love, you only get hate. But let's try and give the offensive line some love. Let's give them fantasy football, and we can find a way to score it. I have no idea how you score it, but
We'll figure it out. We'll get into like the incubator. We'll figure this thing
we'll
out.
sit on the love sack.
We're never. But the thing is, guys, we're never gonna leave. The stealth tech. What are you gonna do? You got the speakers, the subwoofers. You're sitting there watching offensive linemen only. I mean, it's the best. We got to. You know who we got to get involved? AQ Shipley over from Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah, that's what he is.
He does the in the trenches, breaking down offensive line play. So maybe we figure out a way.
We're on to something now.
We are.
Hey, we'll talk.
Yeah.
My people talk to your people.
Done deal.
Done. Justin, really appreciate it.
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Phenomenal job, man. Appreciate you being on with us today, man.
This was great.
And we'll get the Giants to re-sign you just for this, okay?
Absolutely.
That's it.
100%. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Justin.
Hey, appreciate it. Take it easy, man.
You're welcome, Justin.
That's awesome.
All right, guys.
I love
Appreciate
offensive
it.
linemen.
See you, Justin.
Oh, come on. Come on, see the handshake. It's just.
It goes all the way. When all the way up here.
Come on, man. See you, Justin.
Oh
Thanks.
man, see now he's showing off with the
Yeah,
mitts.
Justin,
Now
see-
he's showing off. There's no knucks. There's no knucks
awesome.
anymore. That's just hands. See,
you,
man.
Justin.
I will point out, Malcom might have the biggest mitts I've ever seen on a normal dude.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Bench
Yeah.
and him could have a competition of how many baseballs they could hold.
Yeah.
I might take Malcom.
My hands are huge. Like I have basketball hands here.
Yeah, basketball. You got offensive lineman
I got
hands, baby.
offensive lineman hands, man. I'm telling you, like, I can hold the rock right now and just run with the football all day.
I can palm a basketball. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
not like I have small hands.
Right, my hands are huge, and I can just hold the football, by the shape and just toss it.
Justin Pugh, man, again, offensive lineman for the Giants.
Justin Pugh was hands down amazing.
That might be my favorite interview you've done today. That was so much fun.
Yeah, me too. Like so far, like Justin Pugh has been amazing today for me.
Just so entertaining.
Wow, just
James Conner is next at 2:15. 2 o'clock. James Conner coming up shortly. I can tell there's been a lot of back and forth, but man, I'm actually not kidding. Like, it started off as a joke, but fantasy football for an offensive line, I don't know how you would score it, but there needs to be a way to get it involved because I'm sick and tired of offensive lines not giving the love they deserve.
Not getting the credit and the love that that it's due. Absolutely, sir.
You only get the hate.
I'm with you on that. Offensive linemen in the game today should get the love that they deserve, and it's unfortunate that they don't get the love that they're not getting the credit that they're due for.
And when it comes down to it, too, Kansas City has been fairly lucky.
Right.
I think if you're an offensive lineman in Kansas City, because they've had a lot of great offensive lines.
Right.
I think if you're my age, I'm 29, you go back to, Will Shields, Brian Waters, right? Like, you go back, Willie Rofe, Casey Wigman, and then you even had a lot of great offensive lines post, but you grew up with an offensive line that was celebrity status in Kansas City.
Right.
And you don't have that everywhere. And so I just sit back and I'm going, how can we make this more understandable for people? Fantasy football for O-lines. That's the way to do it. No one take my idea. I'm TMing it. This is trademarked. Hey, Richard, get on it. I have no idea. Albert Einstein could do all those TMs. Now it's my turn, okay? I'm not saying I'm Einstein, but, I don't think I have anything in common besides a mustache with the guy. All right, James Conner coming up next. You excited to talk with him?
I can't wait to speak with James Conner. I talked to him last year at the Roll last year.
You did?
I did.
What all did you ask him? I'll make sure to not ask the same questions.
I asked him about his experience, in college, transitioning from college to the NFL as a running back. I mean, I asked him that. I asked him about his prediction for the game last year. Just talking about the X's and O's, from the Chiefs and the Eagles last year. I mean, James Conner was a phenomenal person to talk to last year.
Yeah. No, I'm very, very excited to get to talk to him very quickly. I'm going to ask a question off air to Hunter, so I apologize. Who's James Conner brought to us by? Circle K? We have a drink to check out, too? I'm all in. James Conner, Circle K, and we get drinks? Dude.
Wow.
Can you say all in? Hey, what happened to the M&M peanuts I got earlier? Dan Marino gave me peanuts, and
whatever happened to your peanuts there?
I won't eat them on it. I'm not. But when Dan Marino gives you peanuts, look at those hands. You see those hands? These are my favorites.
You like peanut butter M&Ms over traditional M&Ms or peanut?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, peanut butter.
Peanut butter. I mean, peanut butter M&Ms. They're
I'm
top tier.
I'm peanut butter M&Ms all day long.
Right here, this guy says, we love our O-lines in KC. I got a picture of Trey and Creed's back to school and their Jack Stack t-shirts on my desk at work. And I don't even live in KC, so it definitely turns. So, yeah, man. So true, though. I mean, just like, I love the fact that the Chiefs understand, a lot of Chiefs fans understand the full picture and not just hyper-focused on Madden or fantasy football.
I wish all the other teams would follow the Chiefs' blueprint. Just have respect for the offensive linemen and not based it off of Madden or FanDuel or these other things. And just just pay respect to the offensive linemen. They deserve all the credit in the world.
All right, next question I have whenever James Conner comes up, right here from Savannah, says, when Conner comes up, ask for a stiff arm tutorial. We can do that. Savannah, you've had some good questions. You're making me look like an idiot each time, but you've had some good questions. I'll grant you that.
I'm loving your questions, Savannah.
I don't know if I love them or if I'm I love them. Let's be real. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You're making me look like a buffoon, if you will. But if that's what it takes, I'll look like a buffoon for it.
Hey! It's all it's all about having fun. That's why we're here.
And I'm having an absolute blast.
Me too.
Here with you, Malcolm.
I've been having a blast too, Sterling. This is amazing, and it's gonna get even better. Tomorrow's gonna get better.
Every day's better.
Today's gonna,
every
minute.
minute.
Every minute's gonna get exciting. I mean, you just never know what's gonna happen.
Again, we are here giving you guys live Super Bowl coverage from Radio Row. We are unified coverage, Special Olympics and fan-sided. Malcolm and myself. I'm not gonna lie, this football, I really want to play catch with you. I'm really looking to try and throw the pigskin.
Yeah,
it's not like pigskin. I think it's more of a leather hybrid, maybe rubberish.
It's more rubber-ish. I would say rubber-esque. Actually, you have to like throw the whole pigskin. Here we go with James Conner now.
James Conner.
Brother, how you been?
James Conner, I remember
James
you
Sterling,
from last
man, how you
year.
doing?
If you drink scissors,
Oh my gosh.
I can tell him not to open it.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
do
open
it.
it yet.
Don't open it.
How the year been?
Don't open it. Oh man, I was trying to take a swig of that bad boy. I know James Conner is here with Circle K. What you got rocking with Circle K?
Man, just with that new Mountain Dew, the Purple Thunder. You can get at the local Circle K, get you a 6-pack, 12-pack, Super Bowl party drink. Mountain Dew Purple Thunder.
Wow. What flavor? It's berry plum.
Yeah, berry. I mean, come on, how exclusive can it get?
Man, come on! You're making me want to drink this right now.
You can take a sip, just fountain it.
You're fountain that bad boy.
Just fountain it. Yeah, you got it.
James, I'm so glad. I'm so honored to talk to you again. Just like a year ago, I mean, at the row, and I want to ask you, like, what's the easiest and hardest part of being a running back? Like, just share that a little bit.
The easiest part, man, is what's the easiest part? The easiest part is just get to doing what you love to do. I just love playing the game and stuff, and so it's a blessing to be able to do what I love to do and play the position that I love to play. Man, the hardest part about it is, football is 11 on 11. So the hardest part is probably just, being a one for the team and being accountable for them. Because it takes work day in and day out. Week after week, you got to be that guy, that RB1, to keep moving the chains and keep the team going forward. So, but it's a blessing and all.
You played defensive end as well in high school?
Yeah.
Was there ever thought of being a defensive end?
For sure. That's what I committed to the University of Pittsburgh for, is to play defensive end. Yeah. That's what I got my scholarship for. But so I got a scholarship as a junior in high school as a defensive end, and I committed. But then my senior year, I was playing running back. They called and said, hey, when you get here.
I see 1,680 yards. They're like, okay, maybe we'll running back.
Yeah, so that's how that worked out.
Oh, speaking of college, like, talk about the transition from being a college running back to now in the NFL. Like, talk about that transition and how difficult that is.
Man, it's just everything just gets taken up a level. When you get to the NFL, it's every team is good. In college, you'll have those teams where you feel like you can maybe just beat them with no problem. But that's not the case in the NFL. So it's just a full-time job, and just being ready. It's just a different level of ball.
Before we talk about Arizona, I want to talk about your time in Pittsburgh really quickly. I've always had just immense respect for Mike Tomlin. I think his record of never having a losing season.
Incredible,
I mean, it's just absurd to me. What was it like having Mike Tomlin as a head coach?
Oh, man, it was awesome. You just you learn so much, about life, aside from becoming a better football player. So Coach T is just awesome, man. He's a leader of men. He's really consistent, loyal. So Coach T, man, is just somebody that you can count on, and he'll be there for you for sure.
Man, James, you've dealt with adversity in your life and also as a player. What's your advice for those that are dealing with adversity?
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to those that are dealing with it as we speak?
Man, I would just say that it's temporary, and it's better on the other side. You got to keep pushing. Life is hard. Sometimes you got to do hard things. But that's where the reward is. You got to earn it. You got to earn it, man. So I would just tell them keep going, man. And it's temporary. The hard times right now in life is just temporary, and there's better days ahead.
We got a fun question on the chat right here. I'm told to ask you for a stiff arm tutorial. You don't have to do it to me, but
yeah, Mal. What about you guys? Can I show the stiff arm on you? I'm messing with you. Nah. So that's what we got. That's what we doing right now. The stiff arm.
Don't ask you for a stiff arm. No, man, you're not gonna get me.
Yeah.
I am gonna say you went over 1,000 yards for the first time in your career. Obviously, Week 18.
Yeah.
Huge week for you.
Yeah.
What was that for you going into Week 18? Obviously, was that a pretty big goal of yours to get to 1K?
Yeah, for sure. Just knowing that it was within reach, and man, I just had to lean on my teammates truthfully because, like I said, it's 11 on 11. But man, the offensive line, the tight ends, everybody just blocking so hard. And after being in the league, 7 years, like never having got that yet, I'm like, man, I know I'm more than capable, but needed like 100-some yards. I think it was like 110 or something like that going into the game. And to get it, man, it's just a blessing. You know, just I put the work in, and that's what you get. That's the result.
Yeah.
So is there a player as a kid that you modeled your game after?
Yeah.
Like did you have like players you grew up as a kid that you just modeled your game, tried to just emulate? And if so, who were those players that you tried to emulate your game after growing up?
I would say, you know, a lot of pieces to it. I always loved how Ray Lewis approached the game. You know, just with his intensity and his passion. So I take that part of his game. Marshawn Lynch, the way he runs. You know, I love beast mode. You know, I was a Cowboys fan growing up, so you know, just watching Emmitt Smith just dominate. You know, and just rushing, being an all-time leading rusher, that's inspiring in itself. So I would say some of those guys for sure would be my inspiration.
This feels like it was your best season in the NFL. 5 yards per carry, first year over 1,000.
Yeah.
You're a workhorse too. 208 carries in 13 games is
Yeah.
it's pretty unheard of in today's NFL. Do you take pride in being there, even when you are banged up, even when you go through these injuries, going out there and going 20-plus carries?
Yeah.
Effective 20-plus. It's not
No
just
doubt.
20 for 60. It's
Right.
20 for 100.
For sure, man. It's man, the opportunities are limited in itself. You know, you only get 17, and so you have to fight through some injuries, and you have to just deal with some things. But the opportunities are slim, man. So I just want to be available and be ready and be that back that they expect me to be for the team.
How has the position changed since the start of your career? How has the running back position evolved since you've been playing?
Man, I think they say it evolves just because there's so many different styles, but there's some guys who are still traditional with it, some guys who are more pass catchers, some guys who are still speedsters. I only can be me and just play my game, you know what I mean? So I just play what got me here to this level, a physical brand of football, and just try to be available and be the best, receiving back and pass protecting back I can be. So I think everybody has a different style. You just got to know your style and play it well.
How hard is it pass protecting as a running back in the NFL? I think that's one of the more underrated aspects of what makes good running backs great, right?
Absolutely.
You take pride in being a great pass protector.
Yeah.
Right? I think especially as a young player, that's one of the first things they need to do to get onto the field.
Exactly.
How do you grow and get better as a pass protector?
Man, you grow and get better by being one of those young guys who wasn't on the field because they didn't know what he was doing. Man, they couldn't put me in the game if I didn't know how to protect Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? So it was a growing pains for sure with that. But that's the difference what separates them. You got to be willing to step up there and be unselfish and make a play for somebody else when you're not getting the ball.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the matchup on Sunday between the Chiefs and Niners. What's your thought on the matchup, and who's your X factor outside of Mahomes and Purdy?
I think I got KC taking it. I think I got them winning it. The X factor for both teams, I feel like Chris Jones on the defensive line making a game-wrecking play. Maybe a sack fumble or something like that. And then obviously on San Fran, I got to go with McCaffrey, just explosive run or explosive receiving catch or something like that to shift the dynamic of the game.
Yeah, talking about those two running backs, they're very different, right? Christian McCaffrey's a little bit of everything, right? And Pacheco's very physical.
Yeah.
I have zero idea how he runs like that and still is so effective.
Yeah.
But what do you look at with those two guys in particular?
Man, just game changers. The last couple of games, Pacheco's been closing it out. That 4-minute offense late in the game. And then McCaffrey just, having 3-4 touchdowns a game. It seems like, they just get him the ball any way they can. So I just see two backs who really love the game and who are very talented and work extremely hard. And that's why they're both on this biggest stage. And so may the best team win.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Arizona?
Favorite restaurant in AZ, what I have to say that would be. What I love out there? I don't know, man. Even though I've been there going on 3 years, I'm still kind of trying out a whole bunch of new spots, man. So the steakhouses out there are really good. All the top brands are good. The sushi spots is pretty good. I'm still trying new restaurants, so I'm sure I'll see you here next year and I'll have an answer for you.
Awesome, James. Sounds good.
Yeah.
What is the future looking like for you? What are plans as well as Kyler Murray healthy?
Mm-hmm.
There was a spark at the end of the year. I kept going back and telling folks, Kyler Murray is a massive difference maker on that Cardinals team. You just see what they look like.
Yeah.
What does it look like for you going forward as well as the Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, man, spark for sure at the end, and Kyler's obviously he's a guy there. He's more than capable of taking it all the way over. But we'll see. I got another year left on my contract, 1 year left on it, and give it everything I got. And obviously, would love to stay out in AZ. I made it home. It's home base for me now. So we'll see. But take it one day at a time, and everything happened for a reason.
Is there anything you're looking to improve upon during the offseason?
Man, every level, every category. The endurance, the ball security, the catching, the footwork. As soon as you get satisfied in this league, that's when you start to decline. So, got to stay on it.
When it comes to the combine, we were talking to a couple of the young guys out here. Michael Penix Jr. We were talking to Rome, and it's very interesting because they all talk about we got to get ready for the draft and for the combine, but the combine is unlike anything.
Yeah.
How did you go through that of trying to get ready for the combine while also understanding you're not going to be running to 40 yards without pads on? You're not going to be doing all these drills with no pads on. How do you find that line?
Man, you just understanding what's expected of you and what's required. Just being in the moment, being present in that moment, and realizing I got to get ready because this is what they want to see. They want to see me bench press 225. They want to see me run the 40-yard dash, do the cone drills, and it'll be some interviews. You know what I mean? So make sure your mental is sharp for the interview. That's what I did, and try to put up as 225 many times as I could. Go to the drills, run the 40. And just do what required, and knowing that's not, the game, the film tells it all, but just being in that moment and just going through the experience, it's a blessing to be at the combine. So it's long, but trying to enjoy it as best as possible.
Did you get any weird questions at the combine? Always are rumors of the weird ones.
Yeah, there's always rumors of the weird ones. Thankfully, I didn't get nothing too crazy, but I've heard some off-the-wall stories that almost can't even repeat, so I don't even know how that works, but thankfully, I didn't get none wild.
James Conner again right here with Circle K, baby.
Yeah.
The Purple Thunder.
The Purple Thunder, man. Mountain Dew. Like I said, it's a Super Bowl drink, the party drink. Local Circle K, they got them. So go grab the Purple Thunder.
I got to grab some, maybe a little mix it right here on the Vegas Strip, maybe walk down the Vegas, little mixed drink right there.
Just be smart, brother.
James
Conner. so much.
No doubt. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, thanks so much, James. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
hey,
James.
good luck next year as well.
Good luck next year, James.
I don't know, man. You might need to leave that.
I'm gonna
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna give that a try one.
Yeah, Circle K. Give it a try.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Always fun, man. So how was that? You talked to James Conner last year. Talked to him again this year. It's great catching up with him, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I do think the Cardinals are legitimately a team that have a lot of potential.
They have a lot of potential. They have a lot of pieces. They just got to keep Kyler Murray healthy. And Jonathan Gannon, coach for Arizona, it was his first year. He's learning a lot on the fly. So, give him at least a couple more, give him another year, and Arizona's going to be a team that's going to contend in the NFC West.
I really do believe that Kyler Murray, at least for right now, is the right guy in Arizona.
Yeah.
I think we got so caught up in the Call of Duty story. Yeah. We got so caught up in the contract. We forgot of how talented a player he really is. I know injuries were always going to be a question mark at his size, but when you look at what he does when healthy, and you also look around the NFL, Joe Burrow's a big dude. Yeah. He's getting injured a lot.
Right.
I think you take a chance on a guy who's as big as a game changer as Kyler.
You kind of look at what Kyler did in college as well at Oklahoma. He was the same way. You can go back to Jalen Hurts as well, same way. Built the same way, it's just you gotta stay healthy in the NFL, in order to win championships, honestly. If you're not healthy, if you don't stay healthy, you're not gonna win. You're gonna struggle.
Man, it's been a fun day. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I think he liked my idea. He told me to. What are you looking at over there, Richard? Oh, different camera. I'm doing stuff. Sorry, I got caught.
You got sidetracked.
I got sidetracked. I mean, I am like a squirrel.
Yeah.
In fairness, I'm very much like a squirrel. I did say one of my friends texted me and said a drunk guy is climbing the sphere, and then tagged me. I hate that this is my brand now.
Oh, boy.
I hate that this is my brand. And no, as I am here on Radio Row, 'twas not I that was the guy climbing. How do you climb the sphere? It's circular.
Yeah, that you couldn't climb the spear. It's going to be difficult, especially. It's so, all those lights you have up there and everything, it's going to be tough.
I already told you, man, I don't like heights. That right there should tell you. Ain't me. Working on getting who the next guest is going to be. Talk between Jay Glazer, talk between Jon Runyan. We'll see. But either way, it's going to be fun.
It will be.
Tell you what, I wouldn't mind another offensive lineman. I like this offensive line talk.
Yeah, I love offensive line talk as well.
All right, going back to the what is this right here? Couple more questions. No, man. 49ers fans right now, you got to calm down. It's all love. Chiefs fans, calm down. It's all love right now. We're on Stacking the Box.
It's love.
It's all love right now.
It's all love, definitely.
It's a respectful disagreement.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
Respectful disagreement. Nobody's crying if the Chiefs lose or if the Niners lose. Come
exactly.
on now in the YouTube chat. We ain't doing that.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe the game that means the most.
And it's the last game of the season, too, so. Yeah.
Oh, man. Radio Row has been an absolute blast. Yes. Everyone walking by, so many cool things happening. Again, we're looking to see who is coming up next, whether it's Jon Runyan or Jay Glazer. All right, going back to the game. As far as coaching, I think the Chiefs have the edge here. Andy Reid has done it. He's been there before, but I've also pointed out multiple times now, he had the knock against him that he couldn't get over the hump.
Right.
He never did with the Eagles and never kept saying, yeah, he's a great regular season head coach, this, that, and the other. But then what happened? He finally won his Super Bowl, and then he broke through. I think it's a little unfair when people kept saying John Harbaugh has never done it before, so he'll never do it.
Right.
I think that's a little...
That's stretching a little
unfair.
Bit. That's stretching it to me. But, to piggyback on what you're saying there, Sterling, I got to agree with you. Andy Reid has a coaching advantage over the Niners. Andy Reid's been there, done that before. He's not afraid of the moment. He'll get these guys fired up, ready to go. So, to me, it's like you said. Andy Reid has the advantage.
Yeah. The 49ers defense came out and said they will not let mistakes continue in the Super Bowl. Words are just words. We will have to see that in action.
We'll have to see it on the field on Sunday.
Obviously, that was against the Detroit Lions. Probably the worst defensive performance we have seen all season long from San Fran. Now, don't get me wrong, the Detroit Lions offense is very talented, extremely talented. But end of the day, the Niners, and at that point at least, the biggest stage they'd played in this year, the defense kind of let them down. So they say they vow. They're vowing. Ain't going to happen in the Super Bowl. Do you believe them? Steve Wilks, defensive coordinator, called it unacceptable and embarrassing.
To me, I have to see it on the field. Words are just words. I got to see it on the field to actually, truly believe, it actually is going to happen. So until I see it on the field, I'm not going to believe it until I see it on the field.
They got called out by Wilkes, and again, they talked about the effort, saying it was, again, embarrassing.
And unacceptable, too.
But because of those effort issues, days after the NFC Championship game, apparently they were extremely intense. Javon Hargrave said the entire unit put our heads down because they were so disappointed by what it watched and the accompanying angry words from Steve Wilkes. Coach Kyle Shanahan also called out his defense what he considered a poor backside pursuit on Detroit run plays. Again, Chase Young has been getting the ire of a lot of 49ers fans for some of his pursuit and perceived lack of hustle when it came to some of those run plays. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, I think early and often in that game, you're going to test them and say, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Do you want to win a Super Bowl, or are you trying to get a contract and focusing in on the sacks?
On the sacks, exactly. So I would say another key, I would say an X factor for me outside of Mahomes and Purdy would be Chase Young. Chase Young, he has to step up. Does he really want this ring, or does he want a contract?
Yeah.
that to me is important.
Chase Young yesterday declined to go into detail about how that play developed, but he did acknowledge the need to never let such lapses happen again, especially with so much on the line this week. He said, quote, "The only thing we're worried about is doing our job every play and preparing for the game the best we can. We've got to do a lot better. You're going to see it this game."
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Chiefs. Left guard Joe Thuney still hopeful for Super Bowl 58 return, but again, as I said earlier on the Arrowhead Addict podcast, which yet again, make sure you're following both Arrowhead Addict and Stacking the Box. We'll be going live on Arrowhead Addict tomorrow. But the sources I've talked to basically say Joe Thuney will not be able to give it a go. But again, if anybody could, it would be Joe Thuney. He is a tough SOB. Man, that guy has played through broken hands, through about everything. He's a robot.
He's a workhorse.
But end of the day, I think you're looking at Nick Allegretti getting the nod.
Over Joe Thuney.
Some more questions. I don't understand why the 49ers team keeps talking, like outside of media. Mistakes, complaining about the turf. I'll answer that one. I think when you heard about the complaining about the turf, the field at UNLV looked into a little bit more. Not good. I understand being upset by it. I don't consider that as out of bounds.
Right.
Maybe. Now, Nick Bosa talking about the holding on the other hand, I think that was a little bit more egregious. I think that was a situation where you let your coaches talk about that.
Yeah, let the coach handle that.
And you fluff it up. The reason why you bring that up is because you want the refs to take notice of that. Only interesting note is the refs that he's talking about, same refs that they had in the first Super Bowl. So it's a little interesting now hearing Bosa complain about the holding penalties in that regard. Seems to me that should be left for Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan and the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinators, that's their job.
Yeah.
Let them handle it. You handle what you can handle on the field. You can control what you can control on the field. All the outside stuff, that's the coaches' stuff. That's the coaches to control.
Yeah. One here from Flapjack City says Purdy tried bouncing a ball off a DB's head. It'll be an interception. Yeah, I mean, that was a 1 in 1,000 play, but end of the day, it happened. I go back and forth on those because you have to have luck to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you do.
You do. Any team, most of the time, that wins a Super Bowl, they had to have had some luck along the way. For the 49ers, that was their big break. And
not only that, you also have to overcome so much adversity just to get to the big game where, all the other 30 some odd teams can say, okay, we didn't get it done this year, but next year for sure we're going to get it done. But the Chiefs and Niners are here, for a reason. These two teams had to overcome adversity all season long, so that's why they're here.
Another comment here on Facebook says, 20th carry for Pacheco, third quarter, bet Chase Young isn't going to be giving 100%. Again, that is what I'm intrigued to see is, will the defensive line be wanting? Will the defensive line be wanting to try and bring down Isaiah Pacheco after a heavy dose of him all game long? The Niners defense, I think, is getting a little bit of a better nod than they should. They've been a fine team, but I do think they haven't been a great team defensively, which is interesting because when you look at the names of the 49ers defense, very talented, extremely talented. But I think the names right now are currently better than the production. Looking here now, trying to find a little bit of the team stats of them defensively here. Give me one moment. You look at the points per game, their number is great, right? But when it comes to opponents' yard per rush, 21st in the NFL, giving up 4.3 yards per carry.
That's got to improve.
When you look at opponents' completion percentage, 20th in the NFL. Folks are completing 65% of passes against them. And let's be real now, Patrick Mahomes at the helm, that number is going to be a little bit higher.
Higher than that.
You look at the Sack percentage, 20th in the NFL. Now, where they do thrive, and you have to give them a lot of credit, they force turnovers. They are second in the NFL.
And force turnovers.
And on pass plays, when it's a pass play, they're second in the NFL forcing turnovers, or at least getting interceptions. Now, Mahomes almost takes their strength away.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear what the Niners are good at, you're also looking at what the Chiefs' strength is. Mahomes in the postseason has had zero turnover-worthy throws. So you might be great at taking away the football. That's outstanding. But the issue is Mahomes ain't going to let you get in that opportunity.
And if you don't force turnovers, if you don't take the ball away, you're not winning.
No.
99.9% of the time, if you don't force turnovers, if you don't get interceptions, you're losing the game 99.9% of the time.
Yeah. I see one here from Kobe Makes Photos. Says, which player will catch the designated lateral from Kelsey in the Super Bowl? I'll go MVS. I'll go MVS with
MVS as well.
The return of the playoff MVS, the arc from regular season struggles to Super Bowl here. That'd be very entertaining. I don't think Kelsey actually throws a lateral, but if he does,
well, we'll see. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, if he does, we'll go MVS.
Yeah, I'm gonna go MVS as
well. See one right here. Boso is trying to pull a Chris Collinsworth, for being honest. I think it's a good point. Trying to bring light to something. And again, I don't have an issue if your coach does it, because you heard Steve Spagnuolo before they played the Dolphins in Miami bring the fact that, hey, the motion's great, but make sure they're not moving upfield before the ball is snapped.
Right.
Right? And that was him trying to bring light to maybe they move upfield a little before they should, and they want the refs to take notice of that.
Exactly.
If you've played basketball your whole life, a lot of times you'll point to a ref, hey man, he's holding me here. Take a look at that, do this. But you don't do it on the national stage if you are a player.
No.
You leave that for the coaches, and if you're a player, you bring that to the ref's attention pre and during the game.
Right, exactly.
All right, man. Jalen says, I have a hard time believing any player out there wouldn't be given 100%. It's the Super Bowl. I'm 100% with you, man. But also at the same time, would you think the same thing during the NFC Championship game? I don't know, man. We will find out who is next. Still trying to get a little bit of updates. We are working on that. Jon Runyan's next. Perfect. Jon Runyan in 3 minutes. What was that? So we're told. We've had a little up and down, fortuitous, roller coaster. Yeah. So it's been already been a crazy day on Radio Row.
On Radio Row, absolutely.
What's been your favorite part so far?
Justin Pugh.
Justin Pugh
was my favorite.
Yeah.
So far, in the afternoon portion of the interviews so far.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Just the entertaining factor, though. I will say James Conner was absolutely great as well. Again, a little news. If you've not heard, Bieniemy made a playoff visit to the Chiefs. No, that does not mean he's coming back to Kansas City, but a playoff visit to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes went on to say, it's always great to have EB in the building. Just being there and the energy that he brings and the mentality that he brings, he loves being there.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it a little bit earlier on. Don't think Bieniemy necessarily is coming back to Kansas City, because what do? Do you kick out Matt Nagy? I don't think you do that. Would Bieniemy want to take a lesser role here, not as the OC? That remains to be seen. He went to Washington to try and get a chance to move up. Well, 1 year later, guy is out of a job, and not all his fault. The Washington Commanders were a little bit of a dumpster fire.
Right.
Let's be real now. Didn't have a huge chance there, but now look, out of a job. It remains to be seen
Do
where
you like the name
he
Commanders,
goes.
or would you have kept it originally to Redskins?
I would have kept Washington football team.
You would have?
I thought Washington football team was the move, man.
Yeah.
I thought Washington football team was the way to go.
Right.
Puka Nakua walking by right now.
Was walking by.
Jon Runyan.
Jon Runyan is here now.
Jon Runyan Jr., man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. I am doing great. You're brought us right here by One.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with your relationship with One right here?
Doing great. I'm a free agent this year, so kind of out here, media row, try to put my name out there, see what's going on, and overall just kind of enjoy this experience that we have here at Radio Row.
Yeah. I know you played college football at Michigan.
Yeah.
Come on now. How fun was that all of a sudden seeing the Michigan Wolverines win a title this year? That had to be pretty enjoyable.
For sure. I had a lot of fun watching this year, and especially these last 3 seasons where they've made it to the semifinal, not really done so well, but I never really gave up on them. I supported them. I had really high hopes going into this year. I thought this really could be the year that they did it, and to watch them go all the way this year, it was really cool, and really cherish that moment, and I know a lot of Michigan people are really happy about it.
Yeah.
You played with Tom Brady. You were teammates at Michigan. Do you have a Tom Brady story you'd want to share with us?
Now, I don't believe Jon
My
Runyan.
my dad played with Tom Brady. I didn't play with Tom Brady.
No.
Yeah. So
I think he's a little young. I'm not gonna lie. I think you might be a little young to have played with Tom.
My dad was teammates with Tom at Michigan, but Tom did stop by one time, and I was hurt at the time, and he standing over there on the 50-yard line. He brought me over and he talked to me because he knew my dad, and it was a really cool moment.
What was it like all of a sudden this year, Jordan Love now at the helm, you're blocking for a new quarterback. What's that experience like when you have a massive change at QB?
Yeah, Jordan's been in the system. This was his 4th year.
Yeah.
It was his first year starting,
yeah.
But you could tell he really felt comfortable. I don't think there was that big of a transition. If anything, I felt like, the biggest thing we struggled with Jordan just not having really any real connection or relationship with like the young skill players that we had, the rookies at receiver, and the rookies at tight end, and that was kind of difficult to overcome. But I feel like once he figured that out, kind of halfway through the season, I think everybody saw the product that was out there. It was unbelievable, and everything really started clicking.
When it comes to the transition from the college game to the NFL, obviously playing at Michigan, that's a big school. They prep you pretty darn well there, right?
Definitely.
But what was the biggest transition for you, offensive line? Because I think that to me, and maybe quarterback, obviously, the two hardest positions where you have to sit back and learn and grow. It's such a different game. What was that transition like for you?
Definitely, it is difficult, especially, transitioning from D1 football to pro football, the kind of body types and the types of players. There's a lot bigger, faster, stronger defensive linemen, and when you're in college, like you're playing a professional, D end or D tackle maybe once a week, maybe once every other week, but
sure.
And when you're in the pros, every single player you're going against is there for a reason, and they're playing for money, they're playing for checks, and they're going to bring it every single play, every single game. So there's really no plays off, and you got to be prepared for that once you step in there.
Yeah.
Toughest offensive tackle you've had to face?
Ooh, toughest person I had to block, I'd probably say. I think Chris Jones is definitely up there. He's very big guy, and I'm sure he'll show out here in the Super Bowl.
What does he bring that makes it so tough? What are some of the traits and skill sets of these elite defensive linemen that you have to block? What makes him so good and difficult?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. Like really, like the 3 guys I really think of are Chris Jones, Jeffrey Simmons, and Aaron Donald. Simmons and Jones are, they're kind of similar in their style of play, just big bodies who are really good at their hands, really fast feet, and they have that ability to bull rush you. But then there's guys like Aaron who maybe different body type but similar play style, and he's also very quick off the ball, and a lot of game film study goes into that and making sure you're prepared for it. And the guys are tough, and that's kind of the challenges you look for when you go out there and play every week. Hopefully, make sure you play well against them and have a good plan in there to protect and run the ball against them. And it's always a fun challenge. You always go play against one of the best.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite defensive tackle growing up?
Favorite defensive tackle growing up? I think it kind of worked out. I grew up an Eagles fan, and one of my favorite defensive players, I didn't really necessarily watch him, but it was Reggie White. And he was a legendary Packer and Eagle, and obviously those are probably two of my favorite. My Eagles were my favorite team growing up, and say Packers are my favorite team because they drafted me, and
Yeah.
it's kind of special. So Reggie White is probably my favorite.
You've started in 50 straight games.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn impressive. I mean, you look around the NFL, injuries piling up year after year after year, but you've been a constant guy there. How much pride do you take in that streak?
I do. I take a lot of pride in kind of my durability. Being out there every game, no matter the circumstance, no matter if I'm dealing with something small or something big. I want to be out there for my guys so that they're comfortable and they know that I'm going to be there, going to have their back, and guys feel comfortable behind me, whether that's Jordan, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, and knowing that these pass catchers are going to get the ball as well and be there for my guys as well on the offensive line. I take pride in that.
Going from left guard to right guard, how big of a difference is that just for a lot of people in the media or fans who are listening right now? I think some people say offensive line, it's plug and play, but obviously there's a lot of intricacies that go into it. What's the biggest difference from left guard and right guard right here?
Definitely. Growing up, high school, college, I mainly kind of played on the left side, so I kind of feel like my body, my hips, and my eyes, and how my hands move and where I place them, they're kind of just used to the left side. And honestly, I haven't played much on the right side, but football is football. I'm going to be on the field as much as I can, and that goes back to just the durability. And it doesn't matter where it's at. I want to be on the field. I want to be playing. I want to be winning games out there with my buddies. And it is tough switching from left to right, but it's something you got to do. And at first, probably say like a week or two, you don't really start feeling comfortable doing it.
Do you have a good Brian Dawkins story or Terrell Owens story?
Yeah. I remember growing up in the Eagles locker room. I'd walk in the locker room after the games. I'd be hanging out in my dad's locker room, and it was kind of amazing walking in the locker room. Immediately to your right was Brian Dawkins' locker room, and then his locker, and then immediately to that was Weapon X's locker. And that was kind of his alter ego, and kind of like Wolverine, and that's the kind of what he kind of embodied when he's out in the field as Weapon X, Wolverine. And growing up, I didn't really understand it, but now looking back on it, I think it's one of the coolest things ever. He had 2 locker rooms in the home locker room, and it was really cool. And Terrell Owens, I remember I was being a kid, and I think Donovan McNabb was having some of the players over with their families, and I was a big Terrell Owens fan and had him sign one of my jerseys, and that was a really special moment as well.
As far as free agency goes, what's it been like for you? They're just a little bit behind the scenes. Obviously, there's some things I know you can't talk about, but as far as free agency goes, obviously, first time in your career, you played at Michigan your whole time. You didn't transfer.
Exactly.
No NILs. You were loyal.
Yeah.
Then 4 years with the Packers. Now you're a free agent. What has this process been like for you? The uncertainty, if you will.
It's been fun. It's been exciting. I have really no idea what to expect, and I'm kind of just taking that in stride. I'm going to let things happen, and I think I put out a good resume for myself over these last 4 years, so I'm going to let that speak for itself, and being a part of this experience too at the Super Bowl Radio Row, and put myself out there a little bit and try to meet as many people as I can, and get a feeling for where this is going to go.
Yeah.
You blocked for LaDainian Tomlinson, John, Eddie George, Brian Westbrook. How did that approach change for each of those backs?
Yeah. I didn't necessarily do that. My dad did that.
That was Malcolm. That was his dad.
Yeah. But I did grow up watching them, and the way they played, all great running backs, really cool to watch. They're all, I'd say, Hall of Fame level running backs. Definitely Eddie, definitely LaDainian. I think Brian might sneak in there as well. So growing up watching them play, unbelievable that my dad was able to do that for them.
What was the experience for you getting drafted by the Packers in the 6th round like that? I mean, obviously guard is it's interesting, right? It's not tackle. You don't always get the accolades. One, did you always want to play guard, or did tackle or center ever cross into your mind?
Yeah.
And then 2, what was it like getting drafted by the Packers?
I kind of always played left tackle, high school and college, throughout my career, and I always kind of heard the rumblings, even going to Michigan, that I'd be trying to move me to guard, but that really never worked out. Played tackle in the NFL. The rumblings came back again, probably going to move inside. Eventually it did happen, and kind of felt comfortable, kind of felt at home in there. The left side, the right side doesn't really matter. And getting drafted by the Packers was unbelievable. Actually got a funny draft day story, and I remember sitting there on my phone, my friends, my family around me, kind of not knowing what's going on. 6th round kind of just started. And sitting there on my phone, I was texting my agent, like, "What are you hearing? You hearing anything good?" And I think as soon as I was about to, I think, hit backspace when I was texting him, I got a phone call from Green Bay, Wisconsin, but that's kind of the same exact area where the decline button is.
Sure.
So I accidentally declined the draft call, and I tried to call the number back, but it was a blocked number. So, but I was like, what did I just do? I just declined a call from Green Bay, but they ended up calling me back about a minute later, so everything worked out.
It worked out right there, then, huh?
It did, yeah.
When it comes to what the Chiefs' defense does, right? Steve Spagnuolo is a mastermind. He's been a psycho this year, man. I mean, just some of the blitz packages that he brings, they're very unique, very exotic. As a guard, what kind of added pressure would that put on someone like you? Like, what should the 49ers expect in the Super Bowl matchup here?
Yeah, I know Spagnuolo's always going to dial things up, try to make the picture fuzzy for the quarterback, and try to make offensive linemen have bad eyes and not being able to protect their buddy inside. And they bring a lot of pressure off the edge. They mix it up. They got guys that can win one-on-one matchups all across the board. So it's going to be tough, but 49ers, I think, in my opinion, have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So they'll be up for the task, and I'm excited for it. It's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah. Joe Thuney, obviously, I feel like is a I have no idea how he does it, man. He played through a broken hand. You offensive linemen are absolutely nuts, by the way. I'm not going to lie. Just the toughness that you guys bring. I don't think he's going to be able to give it a go, but Nick Allegretti now in the wings. He played against the Ravens. How hard is that for a lineman to all of a sudden, you've been sitting now you're thrust into the starting role, and now it's the biggest game of the year?
Yeah, definitely. I feel bad for Joe. Joe's one of my favorite players to watch. I play in that left guard. He makes it look effortlessly, and he's been doing it very well at a high level for a long time. But Nick Allegretti stepping in, I feel like he's always kind of been their sixth guy in there, and it seems like he's always comfortable. I'm sure he's not going to miss a beat. He looks like he's going to be fine the way he played their last game in the championship. He'll be ready for it, and it's a little change-up, but he's had enough time in there. He's going to be ready to go. I know for sure.
As an offensive lineman, how does your run blocking style change? A.J. Dillon's obviously very different from Aaron Jones. Do you run block similar, or is there a couple of little differences you do in either guy's back there?
I wouldn't say you block any differently. I think if anything, kind of the scheme kind of plays differently, and the coaches have different plays that they like with Aaron Jones back there than A.J. Dillon back there. I think with A.J. they want to get downhill a little bit more, and Aaron Jones in there. Aaron Jones can still get downhill. Yeah, that's for sure. He runs behind those pads and that little, 5'9", 5'10" frame he's got there. That might be generous, but they want to get him outside as much as they can, and I think it's like the perfect complement. Having Aaron Jones, kind of that slasher, and then AJ coming up, and he's going to get you that 1 yard that you need whenever you need it.
Do offensive linemen like pulling out so they can get maybe a cornerback one-on-one in open field?
We definitely do. That's one of our favorite plays.
Jon Runyan Jr., man, really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have fun in free agency, man.
Of course.
That has to be entertaining.
You know it. Thank you very much.
Also, have fun in Vegas, too.
Yeah, I will for sure.
This is my first time in Vegas, so I got to experience it, right?
Too.
Oh, yeah. You guys definitely got to get after it.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah,
you
guys have it going. Thank you.
You too.
Thanks, Sean.
Jon Runyan Jr., obviously Green Bay Packer right now. He is a free agent. Wouldn't mind the Chiefs taking a look if they need a little extra help on the offensive line, right? We'll see what happens. Who knows if Joe Thuney will be staying and how long, especially with that contract. Looks like we got a few more here. Where do Tom Huntley and Derek Johnson rank among the greatest Chiefs of all time? Good question there, Shrey. The Chiefs have been blessed to have a ton of very talented defensive players. I mean, the list goes on and on. Derek Thomas, Bobby Bell. It's so many names to count. I think they're in that echelon, but they're behind those guys, right? Yeah. Like, they played for KC a long time, which obviously helps the cause. But when it comes down to it, I love Derek Johnson. Right. I ain't putting him above DT. I ain't putting him above Bobby Bell. I ain't putting him above Willie Lanier. But he's in that next group down, maybe 4 or 5. Right here. If he can play left tackle or wide receiver, get his number, Sterling. Oh, man, I should have told him that. Just in case. I think John could and can play a little left tackle as well.
Oh, yeah.
Angry Drunken German says, Sterling looking like an 80s late-night talk show host. Is that what I'm rocking with right now? Do I look like an 80s talk show host?
You kind of do.
Ron Burgundy, you think?
Yeah, from Anchorman.
Yeah, I think I got a little Anchorman in me. I think I got a little.
You got a little Anchorman
got
in you
a
with
little
Sterling,
Anchorman.
absolutely.
Don't know how long the tie is gonna last.
Right.
Tie's giving me a little. It's a little tight, baby.
A little tight.
It
tight,
is
but
a
it's all
little
good, though.
tight.
It's all good.
All right, man. Jon Runyan Jr. was talking about how he thinks the 49ers offensive line is one of the better ones in the NFL. Now, I think a lot of the talent has been there, but I do think it has been down a little bit this season. What are your thoughts on the offensive line of the San Fran 49ers?
The Niners have a really strong offensive line. It's, for me, it's going to be, can they hold up against that Chiefs front seven? That to me is going to be the key that I haven't even mentioned. The offensive line for the Niners against the Chiefs front seven. Can they hold up and protect Brock Purdy very well? That's my key right there.
Yeah. I think obviously Trent Williams will do his job.
Yeah.
But it's the right side.
It's the right side. It's the right side I'm concerned about a little bit.
It's the right side. It's the side that maybe Jon Runyan Jr. could have been given a little help out on. Maybe that was the side.
Maybe that's what they need right there. On the right side. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Some more news just in the NFL. Nick Saban joining ESPN College Game Day as an analyst. Nick Saban, who just retired last month as the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yep.
Going back to work, baby, but it ain't as a head coach.
It'll be as an analyst for College Game Day on Saturdays when they start the college football season.
Tell you what, I am shocked. 72 years old.
Yeah.
As much money as Nick Saban's made.
You look at Nick Saban. You look at Bill Belichick. Wow, what historic careers by both those men. Unbelievable.
I can't wait to see Nick Saban and Pat McAfee together on College Game Day.
Yeah, I can't wait for that
Talk
too.
about a interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting dynamic on Saturdays, when the college football season starts.
McAfee's probably going to say something along the lines of, pop the top off, do something fun, and then Nick Saban's going to go, I ain't going to do that, so quit asking.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to do something like that.
the Nick Saban special. Man, I'm not going to lie. I'm caught a little bit off guard. I know he joined them a few times on College Game Day in the past, but yet again, 72 years old, everything that Nick Saban has accomplished.
Yeah.
Obviously, he must still love the game of football, but the grind of being a head coach.
It takes its toll.
It takes its toll.
Yeah, it takes its toll on you. As a college coach, as an NFL coach, it wears and tears on you. You don't even know. You don't know. How much. How long you're going to be coaching. In either the NFL aspect or college aspect.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about the start of the show on the chat right here. What did you guys miss? Yeah, you guys missed Carrot Top in his shoes. I yell at Carrot Top to get his attention, and he shows me his shoes. It is it's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
Those shoes are impressive. Savannah says, okay, long snapper is the position in the NFL with the most job security. Got to get Joe to share some tips I can pass on to my son.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Long snapper's the gig. You can't get hit.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry about getting hit as a long snapper. Not even.
Yeah, man.
Not even close.
I think long snapper's the move. If I could pick one position to play in the NFL, I think long snapper has to be that spot.
If you played, long snapper for what team now?
Oh, the Chiefs, come on now. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to take James Wow, I can't talk anymore. James Winchester's job? I don't want to do that, man. I can't do that.
You couldn't do that.
He's too good.
Right. If I had to be long snapper, I would be it for the 49ers. Hey, the Niners could call me up and say, hey, Mom, we need you as long snapper. I'll do it too.
Chris Jones said he will get his superstitious Super Bowl meatballs after all. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. What rings you're rocking there? You want to share those bad boys?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I saw the Arrowhead Addict. I was like, we need to make sure the Patriots are represented. We've been here before. Okay, good. All right, just want to make sure we're
That's amazing.
Oh man, we got Joe Cardona here at the table right now.
Naming USAA NFL Salute to Service Award recipient. Man, what's that mean for you personally?
You know, receiving the 2023 Salute to Service Award means a lot. The recognition is great, and I really appreciate that opportunity to be recognized. But really, it's an opportunity for me to be recognized to represent all of my fellow service members out there. You know, obviously the New England community was pulling for me. You know, I know they voted for me along the way, but you know, to show up in uniform, to show, you know, my fellow service members that, hey, like, I'm one of you guys, and yeah, I get to do something different on the weekends, but you know, this is my pride, this is my passion.
Talk about the transition from you being a long snapper at the Naval Academy to the NFL.
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, I was really fortunate to get to go to an institution in the Naval Academy where excellence was preached every day. You know, at the end of the day, I went to the Naval Academy never expecting to play it down in the NFL, never expecting to snap. I was an undersized long snapper that went to the Naval Academy and just said, I just want to be on a Division I field, you know, and get to serve my country. At the end of it, because I was surrounded by excellence every day, I said, you know, I got to achieve something. I got to commit everything I have. And really, that stepped in, you know, football really stepped into that role for me. So I got bigger. I perfected my craft, just wanting to be good at the academy. And then it turned into all this, and I could have never expected that.
And then again, you were phenomenal in the NFL. You won a couple of rings. Special teams for a long time were the calling card of the New England Patriots. We know Bill Belichick. He does not. We talked about that long-winded explanation he gave about long snappers. I have to imagine part of that was almost a nod to you, right? He wouldn't have you playing if you weren't that good. Can you talk about playing under Bill Belichick here?
Sure. You know, playing for Coach, especially, you know, really in any position, but one that he understands, because, you know, he wouldn't be the greatest coach of all time if he didn't go in understanding every aspect of the game. And I think, you know, that long-winded answer you guys speak of, you know, is a reporter asking a simple question like, why don't we just have a linebacker do it or have the center do it? You know, and for him to show that appreciation for the position, the understanding, because really at the end of the day, understanding is appreciation. You know, I think it shows what it takes to do it at this level. And for the most part, most fans would never understand, you know, what that player does. I mean, that at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of stuff that sells this game. Long snapping is not really one of them. Sure, like, you know, somebody might love punters and a field position game, you know, but we just play a part in that. You know, it's an intricate position. You know, there's no betting lines on long snapping. So, hey, well, you know, I appreciate all the excitement around it here in Vegas, but, you know, at the end of the day, this is a position that usually goes under the radar.
Chiefs love James Winchester. Come on now. We love our James Winchester. He's been there a long time.
I love to hear that. James is great. Yeah.
As far as some of the intricacies of long snapping, do you ever change what you do for each different kicker? How much of a difference is it going from long snapping to the kicker and then versus going to the punter? Can you talk about some of those?
Yeah, there's a huge difference, and this is a good opportunity for me to kind of share a little bit about the position. You know, field goals, you're talking about the pinnacle of accuracy. You're talking about 8 yards. You got to get the laces right. You got to put it in the right spot so the kicker can see it and have as much time as he can to focus on his job, which is tremendously hard, especially in some of the elements we play in, whether that be Arrowhead Stadium or Gillette Stadium. You know, it's hard, and you got to be exact. And then you got to worry about not only the aspect of scoring points when you're on the field for a field goal, but when you go out there for a punt, a play that nobody wants to see, nobody cares about. You know, people are up getting popcorn at that time or going to get another beer.
Right.
You're facing NFL defensive ends in the A-gap. And here I am at 240 pounds, you know, had to switch to long snapping at one point because I wasn't an NFL linebacker. Right. You know, that was you have this realization that, hey, this guy's really good. I got to survive. I got to be an athlete on this field. And I got to worry about putting an accurate snap back there for the punter. So as unheralded as of a position as it may be, you know, you really do gain an appreciation for the guys that do it well. You know, James is one of those guys that he's done it for a long time, played in a lot of big games, and have a ton of respect for him because he does it the right way.
Take us back, Joe, to Super Bowl 51. You were down 28-3 at halftime. How did you guys dig yourselves out of that hole?
Yeah, here we are, Super Bowl week, got the Super Bowl rings on. Figured it was a great reminder of a game like that, an opportunity where I knew I couldn't go back out on that field. My last snap was 9.5 minutes left in the game, and there was no way I could go back on that field and for us to have success at the end of it. So I got to watch Tom Brady orchestrate the greatest comeback of all time.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's not talked about, but that was the greatest comeback of all time in a Super Bowl. That was the greatest Super Bowl, of the modern era. I firmly believe it. But, I had to sit there and watch. I had to be prepared to do my job just in case, hey, you got to punt. You got to do something. But I knew, points-wise, we all knew things had to go exactly right for us to come back, get to overtime, and eventually win that game. So that was pretty cool.
Getting drafted in the 5th round as a long snapper, it's pretty interesting, right? Did you know you were getting drafted? When did you know? What was that like? Can you take us back to draft day here?
Yeah, no, I couldn't have expected to be drafted. I like I told you before, I went to the Naval Academy, never expecting to play in the NFL. Some unique opportunities were kind of coming up. I got to play in the Senior Bowl, got to go to the Combine. I think I excelled in both, which was cool, really cool. Got to show off for my Navy teammates and show out for them. But really never expected to be drafted. And then to be drafted in the 5th round was probably about 100 picks before I ever expected to be drafted. I was drafted 166. And I think every single teammate that was ever drafted behind me has reminded me that I was drafted above them, no matter how, many rings or, eventual Hall of Famers they may be.
In your mind, is there a GOAT of long snapping? Is there Tom Brady, that he's the GOAT? Is there a GOAT of long snapping or someone that you looked up to kind of help get you where you're at?
Yeah, I think there's some differing opinions on this. And there are some absolute legends, and we can run down the list just so I don't forget anybody. You talk about Pat Manley, you talk about John Dorenbos, you talk about, so many guys that did it for a long time, relatively unheralded.
Yeah.
But to me, growing up in San Diego, David Binn, 16 years. I'm hoping I don't short him a year or two there. Played forever, most of my childhood, and he was just steady, just an awesome guy, a guy I emulated, wanted to be like, and not just because he dated Pam Anderson. But,
come on now.
That was pretty cool.
So Joe, what is the prototype of the perfect long snapper?
The prototype of a perfect long snapper, I would say, you take the athleticism, and build of like a linebacker, tight end type, and then you got that accuracy and dependability of a specialist. Like, you got to go in and do it on your own. There's no reactionary element to it. You just got to do it right, and then you got to be an athlete out there. So, you see a lot of individuals that maybe be shaped a little bit differently, that make it through and survive out there on the NFL field. But to me, if you're an ideal NFL long snapper, you want to be athletic. You want to be able to hold your own out there and fit in on the field. So, I hope I can live up to my own expectation there.
Yeah. Joe Cardona, I didn't know you were named today. Even better.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Again, he won the 13th Annual Salute to Service Award presented by USAA, and you will receive the award during the NFL Honors broadcast tomorrow night.
Pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's a unique opportunity when I get to share, like I said, with my fellow service members, and then the support that USAA is putting behind it, making donations to service organizations as well as to military nonprofits. You couldn't ask for much better from an award. Yeah. And I hope to be able to live up to it.
Yeah. Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will be switching gears in just a moment as Patrick Allen will be taking over for me. Patrick, you about ready, pal? You about ready to swing in here?
Appreciate it, guys.
Fresh bottle of water.
Yeah, I think I'm dead.
You've been working hard, brother.
My voice hurts.
Get out
Your
of here.
voice is hurting.
I'm dead.
Sterling?
I'm dead. I need a nap.
You're relieved.
I can't talk, and yet I still am trying. You know SpongeBob when he can't talk anymore and he needs water? That's me.
Thank you. How you doing?
Patrick, here you go.
Nice to meet you, Adam.
Out of here. We got an interview to do. What's up, Adam?
How you doing?
Hold on, I got to get my credential off
Yeah.
here. The NFL will come for me. You put these suckers online, everybody and their mother will be showing up here.
Yes, indeedy.
How you doing, Patrick Allen?
Adam Breneman. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
How
you,
guys doing?
Adam.
I like this setup here. This is nice.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I have a
Thank you.
banner.
Appreciate it, Adam. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So obviously we're here. We got our guy Malcom here. We're doing our unified reporting with Special Olympics.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we've been out. Malcolm's working way harder than me. I only do a few hours a day. Malcolm's out here. When he's not
love
working
it.
here, he's working the room.
Awesome.
How have things been going for you, Super Bowl week?
It's been good, man. It's been good. It's been a fun week. I got in Sunday night, so it's already what is it, Wednesday today? So I feel like I've been here. I feel like I've been here for a month. Vegas will do that to you. But it's been a good week. Obviously, I mean, everyone's here. It's media, coaches, personnel, content creators. So it's been good to kind of network and meet everybody, and then do some of the media stuff. Yeah.
Is there, what's your favorite part? What's been your favorite part so far?
Yeah, my favorite part would be, I mean, honestly, the radio roast stuff I love because you get to hop around and go on a bunch of different shows like this. So this is one of my favorite. I look forward to this every year. I try to plan a day where I'm just going to go on and appear on a bunch of shows and meet people and meet content creators and hosts like you two. So this is probably my favorite part. I'm actually hosting my show tomorrow here, so that'll be fun to do and get to meet a lot of guys and network some. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a podcast, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You want to tell our viewers about that?
Yeah, it's Next Up with Adam Breneman. So we're on YouTube and everywhere you can listen to podcasts. Really a college football show. So I interview head coaches and players. So I've had a bunch of head coaches on. That's kind of the niche we've created. And had Dan Lanning and Kalen DeBoer, the now Alabama head coach, and James Franklin and Jed Fish at Washington. I mean, just a bunch of guys now that doing it in person and sitting down with some of the biggest coaches and names in the sports. It's been really fun. Yeah.
Share about your experience at Penn State, Adam, as a tight end and at ASU as a recruit.
Yeah, man, I've seen a lot of college football. So my time at Penn State, I played there for 3 seasons, was a 2-time All-American, and got to play with some really good people. And we had, Saquon Barkley and Christian Hackenberg and Allen Robinson and a lot of big names that I got to play with and be around that kind of high-level college football. Our head coach was Bill O'Brien, who is now the Ohio State offensive coordinator, maybe the Boston College head coach soon. We'll see what happens there. And then, I transferred to UMass and played at UMass for 2 seasons, where I was a 2-time All-American, and then spent time at Arizona State as a coach. So I got to see that side of it. Worked with some great people like Herm Edwards and Antonio Pierce. Actually being on the other side of it and coaching the game and leading young men and recruiting, which is a big part of college football. So it was a fun time, and definitely got to see every different aspect and perspective of the game.
Yeah, I actually had a question for you about working with Herm Edwards. Obviously, the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. Herm, former coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. What was it like working under Herm Edwards and the staff at Arizona State? And what was the most important lesson that you learned from him about coaching?
Yeah, great question. Herm was awesome. I mean, exactly what you would think from seeing him on TV. It was how he is. Energetic and cares about people and is a great leader. So a guy you always want to be around. I was a young coach when I was at Arizona State. I was 24, 25 years old. And I would always go into my office once a week, and there'd be a note on my desk with just some words of advice from Coach Edwards. It would be a quote or, words of advice, something he had noticed, and it would just be typed out on a piece of paper. I think what he would do is he would write it down, and then someone would type it out for him, and he would give it to the young coaches of some just something to think about for that week. And I learned a lot from him just about, he's such a positive person. Like he's always fun to be around, always high energy, and it showed me that even through some dark times and when things are going well, if you can stay positive and keep that mentality, it rubs off on everyone in the organization, and everyone has that mindset and that mentality every day.
Yeah.
So I want to shift gears to the Super Bowl. Since we're here for the Super Bowl 58 on Sunday, I want to let's talk about the game a little bit. Like what matchup are you looking forward to the most, and who's your X factor outside of Mahomes and Hurts?
Yeah, I think the one matchup that's exciting is Travis Kelce against Fred Warner, the linebacker for the 49ers. Just can Kelce get open against a guy like Warner, the linebacker, who's great in coverage, who's rangy, who's athletic? Yeah. Just as a former tight end, just the Kittle and Kelce dynamic of 2 of the best tight ends we've seen in my generation. playing against each other in this game. And they're both very different. George Kittle is a traditionalist tight end that's a technician. He's what I call like a system tight end. They use him in motion. They'll put him in the backfield. They'll move him all over, design plays for him. Well, Kelce is really like he's an improv tight end where he kind of makes things happen on his own. Half the time he gets the ball, it's not even the called play. He's just kind of playing football out there with Mahomes. Yeah. Mahomes is scrambling and he gets open. So they're very different types of players. I think Kittle's the better all-around tight end. But those two guys have changed the tight end position. It's now, along with a guy like Gronk, I think, those kind of names have made the tight end position really, really cool in football now. It's sexy to be a tight end now. It used to not. No one grew up wanting to be a tight end 20 years ago. Now it's like kids are like, I want to be a tight end.
What does a guy like Warner do to stop a tight end? I think as fans, we watch the game and it's hard to see everything that's going on the field if you don't have access to all 22. So you hear something like, "Hey, Fred Warner, man, he's really good. He can take care of tight ends." Yeah. But like, what exactly does he do that other guys can't do when he goes up against a guy like Kelce?
It's a couple of things. One is understanding leverage really, really well. So what a guy like Kelce tries to do, Kelce's not the fastest guy. He's not the most athletic. What he does is he tries to gain leverage on all of his routes. So if he's trying to run a corner route, he's trying to gain leverage and get to the outside of the linebacker so that he can then break and have leverage on it. Fred Warner does a great job of not giving up leverage one way or another and staying centered on the receiver. That's number one. Number two is playing physical. I mean, at linebacker, you can pretty much be as physical as you want without getting a pass interference called. Right. You can get your hands on the tight end. Most refs aren't calling a flag on a tight end. I knew when I played tight end, as a big guy, they're not calling defensive pass interference on me because I should be able to get open on that guy, right? Yeah. Right. So he does a great job of getting, not crossing the line of being too physical, but being physical enough to affect a route and using his hands and then not holding when the ball's in the air. So he does a really nice job of just being athletic enough and having enough body control to have good leverage and use his physicality to an advantage.
So what advice do you have for me for the rest of the week here on the Row?
Yeah, as a host?
Yeah.
I think, you're doing a great job. I think you just, always try to, ask personal questions and get the guests to talk a bunch. But I think your questions have been awesome. And the one thing that I always say is just bring the energy, and you have, bring the energy when you're on camera, and people want to see and listen to you, and that's what it all comes down to, right? We're all trying to get people to watch our shows.
Right.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, just kind of to go back to Kelce for a minute, I think sometimes when the Chiefs think that they've got somebody that can maybe deal with Kelce a little bit, they like to put him in motion. I've watched some Chiefs games this year where right before the snap, Kelce's moving almost every snap. Did you get used a lot like that when you were playing tight end, and how did defenders deal with that?
Yeah, so there's a few reasons. I love this. We can talk football, right? There's a few reasons that offenses use motion. Number one is that it's used as an indicator for the offense. So what happens when they put Kelce in motion is it's an indicator of what the defense is doing, right? If Kelce gets followed across the formation, then they know they're probably a man-to-man, right? If they just bump guys, it's probably zone. So it's an indicator for Mahomes to see what's going on. Number two, it's used to get leverage for the offense. So a lot of times you see the guys, if Kelce's going to run a flat route, they'll start him on the other side and motion him across so he has a running start to get out to the flat quickly. And then the other part is a lot of times defenses will have a specific thing they do when a team motions. Defenses have a lot of times, you'll see them all do the same signal. You'll all kind of start waving their hands. That's called a full check for a defense. So when a guy motions or they come out with a certain formation, they have a check that they go to right away. So if the Chiefs know the 49ers do a certain check, they'll motion to get them into that check. So that to say, they're doing that motion on purpose to try to get something or see something or understand something. But what they use it with Kelce a bunch is to get him not press coverage, to get him off the ball, because when you're motioning, you're off the line of scrimmage. So it keeps defenders away from. So then I just talked about Fred Warner getting physical. Yeah. It keeps Fred Warner from being able to get physical on Kelce because he's coming in motion, because he's moving around, because if Fred Warner's following him, he's kind of off balance a little bit. It's harder to get hands on the guy and allows Kelce to maneuver freely, which is why they put him in motion so much.
Did you have a favorite player growing up, Adam?
Yeah, my favorite player growing up, I was a Gronk fan, right, when I was in high school. Brent Selleck was a big fan of his, played for the Eagles. They were all tight ends, though, man. I was always a fan of great tight ends. Heath Miller was a great one, Steelers tight end. So I just always loved great tight ends that were able to get open and make plays with the ball in their hands.
Is there anybody you modeled your game after growing up?
Yeah, I would say, I know I've talked about it a bunch, but like Gronkowski was becoming the man right when I was in high school, right? And then I played for Bill O'Brien, who was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots when they had Gronk and Hernandez and those great players. So, I got to see Gronk and see how he maneuvered and see how he used his body and see how he used his physicality to get open. So I would watch Gronk film all the time and try to model my game off of him. And he did a great job, too, of being physical in the line of scrimmage and also being able to block and then also being able to use his athleticism to win in space.
So what's the toughest part about what's the hardest part about being a tight end? What's the easiest part?
Well, the hardest part for me was always just I wanted to catch passes, but then I had to go line up as a tight end and block people. I didn't want to block anybody. Right. So you got to get beat up in there in the line of scrimmage. So you're getting hit. You got defensive ends and defensive tackles hitting you, but then you still got to go out the next play and go run a route and beat the safety and beat an athletic guy. So you're dealing with all different position groups, right? I'm going against the tackle who's 6'2", 320, and the next play I'm going against the safety who's 5'10", 180 and faster than me. So you're just dealing with different jobs every time. And it's also, I think, tight end, other than quarterback, is the toughest position to understand in an offense because you're lined up everywhere. Tight ends nowadays are lined up in the backfield at running back and fullback. You're lined up on the line of scrimmage at tight end. You're lined up at wide receiver. You're lined up all over the place. So you got to understand every part of the offense, where a running back really just has to know the running back spot, right?
Yeah, we were talking to Dalton Kincaid earlier, and he said, there's the expectations are so low sometimes for the tight ends when it comes to blocking.
Yeah.
They're like, whenever he does get a good block, he gets so fired up. He goes over to his fellow tight ends. He's like, did you see what I did out there? And he gets
at tight end, you just got to get in the way. That's what I always say. Just get in the way and don't get blown up into the backfield.
I've seen Kelsey do that a lot. Watch Chiefs. He'll just throw his arms out. Try to
slow him down.
Wall. Yeah, absolutely. So what about this game, man? I mean, like, who do you think has the edge in this one?
Yeah, I like the 49ers in this one. I think that, 49ers have done a really good job of building that roster a unique way where you don't spend a lot of money on a quarterback. You have Brock Purdy, who was a late-round pick, not an expensive guy. And what that allows you to do is just stack your roster with talent. Like, just get the Christian McCaffrey, get guys that are great players that can support your quarterback. And they've done a great job building that team into the best roster in the NFL. I also think, the 49ers defense has kind of gotten some, people aren't as high on their defense because they haven't played super well in a couple quarters of playoff play. But I think their defense is the best in the league, and it has a chance to shut down the Chiefs for which a lot of people have struggled to do. So I like the 49ers. I think it's not a super high-scoring game. 24-20. 49ers pull it out. I think 24 points is enough to win this game because I don't think the Chiefs will be able to move the ball like they have been all year.
Yeah, it's been a tough road for the Chiefs. It's kind of interesting. The 49ers were the better team in the regular season. The Chiefs offense struggled a lot during the year. Then they get to the playoffs. 49ers have a few issues, obviously not too many. They're in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs seem to right the ship. What do you think was the change for the Chiefs? Or why that? I mean, recently as Christmas Day.
Yeah.
They got run out of the building by the Raiders.
No doubt. I mean, but you look at a team like the Chiefs, to be able to have that happen and bounce back, it's because of the veteran leadership they have. The guy like Patrick Mahomes, a guy like Andy Reid, who's seen so much football, that even when things go south, that that we're going to be all right. The Chiefs could lose 3 games in a row this season, which they didn't, but if they did, they'd still probably be favored the next week, right? Because it's the Chiefs. They're going to be all right. They have Mahomes. They have a generational quarterback. They have a great head coach. I think I just talked about how the 49ers built their roster of getting a young quarterback and putting talent around him. The Chiefs have done the exact opposite. Their model is get a great quarterback, a guy like Mahomes, pay him a ton of money. I mean, they spend half their salary cap on Mahomes.
$500 million.
But then you got to manage your roster perfectly because you can't afford to miss after that because you have a generational quarterback. You can't keep Tyreek Hill. You can't have elite players. So you got to be smart with you. You got to hit on a guy like Isaac Pacheco. So you got to get guys like that. Who aren't expensive players that can be great role players, and the Chiefs have built that roster. Different model, different strategy, but have done it just as well as the 49ers have.
You got to draft well.
No doubt. Exactly. You got to draft well. Yeah.
Well, listen, man, thank you so much for stopping by the table. Can you remind our viewers just one more time where they can get all your content?
Yeah, follow me on social media at Adam Breneman. My podcast, Next Up with Adam Breneman, is YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you can listen to podcasts. So appreciate you guys having me on. This was great.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Thanks
man.
for coming
Appreciate
by.
it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
see ya.
Good stuff.
Again, that was Adam Breneman. Check out his podcast. A lot of college football coverage. By the way, I didn't really get to introduce myself. Came in, sometimes you get an injury. You got to run right off the sideline. Patrick Allen here on Stag in the Box with my guy, Malcom Harris-Gowdie. Here we're doing our unified coverage, Special Olympics, fan side. This is the second year we've done this. It's just a blast, Malcom. The second year for you, too.
Yeah.
What's different for you this time around?
I mean, for me this time around, Patrick, it's just more space, getting a chance to see everybody roam around all the different outlets. It's just, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Just to see all the different, just see everybody roaming around, just checking it out, and it's just really, really, really exciting, just like, this has to be better than last year's.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
By the way, it's a Stacking the Box podcast. Do us a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's get as many football fans in here as we can to get this awesome coverage. Malcom, I'd love to hear from you a little bit about why it's so cool that we're doing this unified coverage, man. Why is it important? Why is representation important? What are we showing here with, Special Olympics fan side?
Yeah, I mean, we're showing Special Olympics and fans. We're showing Special Olympics that, people such as myself can do things like this, and I'm trying to show everybody out there that, they'll see this and be like, oh wow, if Malcolm can do this, I can do this too.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to set the next generation for those, after me, so that they can be like, okay, if Malcolm was able to do this, so can I.
Yeah, man, it's really inspiring. And you're one of the best ones out here, man. I got to be honest with you. You ask questions in such a great, straightforward way. You had a great question. I don't think you got to ask it of Travis Kelce, but you wanted to ask him about Taylor, right?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to, but just ran out of time. Just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's part of being in media sometimes.
Yeah. Look, man, you come to the Super Bowl, and when they do opening night, you've got to really fight your way in there. There's, especially a star player like Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, George Kittle. And you got almost all those guys,
I
didn't
almost
you?
got all of them, absolutely, Patrick. I was able to get, I was able to talk to Brandon Ayuk. I was able to talk to all the different receivers for the Niners and everything like that, just picking their brain, in regards to Sunday, So I'm interested in seeing what, how this shakes down.
Yeah. Now I know you've got your journalist hat on as we're waiting for, some of our next few guests to come by. But I know you're a 49ers fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. It's a little awkward, but it's okay. We're going to roll with it. We're professionals.
Well,
who's your favorite 49er right now, and who's your favorite 49er of all time?
My favorite 49er of all time, Jerry Rice.
Yeah, man.
Wide receiver Jerry Rice of all time is my favorite 49er, and my favorite 49ers player currently, I got to go with Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey.
He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. Had the most touchdowns all season long, and to me, he should be MVP.
Yeah, I thought that too a lot during the season. I know it's a quarterback award, but I mean, his value on the field for the 49ers, he makes everything work for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So so for me, Christian McCaffrey should be MVP. But but like you're saying, Pastor, it's always gonna be the quarterback.
Yeah, it's always going to be a quarterback. It's a quarterback league. But I think he's going to put on a show here in his first Super Bowl. How you doing?
How you doing, Rashad?
So we welcome Rashad Jennings. How you doing, buddy?
Man, we are amazing. Happy to be here with y'all.
Yeah. You guys are working with Gen Youth, correct? Did I say it right?
Absolutely.
You did.
Yeah.
Gen Youth.
Gen
yes.
Youth?
Short for Generation Youth.
Generation Youth. Can you tell us all about it?
Absolutely. Gen Youth is a national nonprofit. We were co-founded by the NFL and America's Dairy Farmers, and our mission is to help ensure that children thrive by living well-nourished and physically active lives. We're here at the Super Bowl because the Taste of the NFL is held the day before. It's the largest philanthropic event at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the proceeds benefit Gen Youth, and then we give grants to schools here in the host community, but actually all across the country to help end student hunger.
That's incredible.
Wow.
The Super Bowl is obviously, it's this big circus. it's sports focused. There are all these people here, but it creates opportunities for organizations like yours to get your message out. And this is really, why is this such an important issue out there that maybe a lot of people don't realize?
Yeah, actually 1 in 8 children in this country is living in food insecurity. Here in Nevada, it's 1 in 5.
Wow.
And schools feed 30 million kids every day, but only about half of those kids benefit from school breakfast because there's hurdles, including lack of time to get to the cafeteria. And sadly, the stigma associated with eating breakfast in the cafeteria at school.
Sure.
So our work at Gen Youth is we raise money and we give it back to school nutrition programs and provide grab-and-go equipment. So they literally bring that healthy school meal right to where the kids are getting off the bus and coming into the building.
Yeah.
They grab and go and start their day with their minds and bodies fueled.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
That, it's not just to do the good thing, but to understand the perspective of the kids and what they're going through, and not only that you can reach them, but maybe what's the best way to reach them. I think that's fantastic. I know that obviously when in the nonprofit world, you're probably going to rely a lot on grants and things like that. My wife has a background in nonprofits, but if someone was interested in giving to the organization, how could they go about that?
They can do so at our website. It's Gen Youth Now, GENYOUTH now, NOW.org. Learn more about our mission, and there is a donate button. It's very simple, easy, and every little bit helps.
Yeah, and these are tax deductible when you give to a nonprofit, so it's benefit for you, and you're going to be doing some really good things, so make sure you do that. Rashad, how'd you get involved with Gen Youth?
I tell everybody, it's nothing special about me at all. Just in a special position, so anytime I get to unmask myself and be a magnifying glass towards things that are important, I do that. I ran across Gen Youth years ago when I was in New York, and I went to one of their events, Taste of the NFL, and it was fascinatingly great.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be a part, and understanding their mission, understanding what they're trying to do, especially with the youth. I'm a big advocate, and we need to focus on our youth. Obviously, that's our next generation, right?
Yeah.
And so hensing Gen Youth. I think they do a phenomenal job on doing that. And one of the things that they focus on is one of the 3 that all doctors say you need to focus on of raising your kids, and that's eating right, exercising, and rest. Well, we're talking about eating right that transitions into exercise and potentially to how you rest. So I think it starts off in the morning with a great breakfast, and they're doing everything that they can in the right way.
It's fantastic.
That's fantastic, Rashad. I would love to ask you this as well. I mean, the toughest and easiest part of being a running back.
The toughest and easy. Now, okay, so you want me to answer that in general, or you want me to answer that from my perspective, personally?
From your perspective.
Okay.
From your perspective.
Okay, so I'm 6'1", standing in front of you right now, about 255. The easiest part as a running back is hitting people. The hardest thing of a running back is not finding a hole to run through. That is forever and always the hardest thing. Now, I will tell people, all running backs run the same when there's nowhere to run.
Right.
There's only one person that ever ran somewhere when there was nowhere to run, and his name is Barry Sanders. Outside of Barry Sanders, we all run the same when there's nowhere to run. So the hardest thing to do is find a hole and then run when there's nowhere in front of you. But I love that position. I probably was a better linebacker coming out of high school. I just had this idea that I wanted to play running back, and I love contact, and it's just, for me, it's a beautiful position.
Has the running back game, has the position changed, in your mind, in today's game, you think, or in your opinion, has position changed over time?
I will say the expectation and the demand and the requirement of the position definitely has shifted over time. But my synopsis is you cannot win a Super Bowl without a solid running back in the backfield. And that's been proven over and over and over again. So no to that fashion, but the respect to the running back, oh, man, that's gone. There's a lot of disrespect to the running backs.
I wanted to ask you about that. There's been a lot of talk over the last few years. The position's getting undervalued, underpaid. Teams think they can just get a running back in any round of the draft, plug them in. Now, you were a 7th rounder. And they're worried about the injuries, right? So it's hard to get that second contract. What's your opinion on that? And does the NFL need to step in and do something so that these guys who are going out there taking lots of reps, taking a lot of abuse, pounding on their bodies, get compensated fairly?
I think, and just to make sure the statement is proper, I would say they're not undervalued. They're just underpaid. The value of the running back is absolutely there. Say hike and try to hand it off to nobody. Each position is valued. However, the intricacies on how you want to perform and win in the NFL, I think it's shifted to multiple personnels in the backfield of carrying the ball, and I think a lot of people have finally figured this out, and I talked about this for so long while I played. Offensive coordinators bang their head on a wall trying to figure out, how do I get my running back in the open field? Right, they draw all kind of schemes to block, to get him into open field space.
Right.
Well, the best thing you can do is say hike and just dump it to him. Throw the ball to him. And that's what you're seeing a lot more. Coordinators figured out all you got to do is throw him the ball and he's in open field. Now he can perform better. And so that's why you see the run game per se shifting, and that's why you see receivers like Debo Samuel or Samuel out there with the Commanders and other wide receivers that you're finding in the mix coming out of the backfield, because that position is so important, but you can find different ways to get them the ball.
Did you have favorite players growing up, Rashad?
Absolutely. Barry Sanders, best running back of all time. If nobody believes that, then I can't talk to you. But I enjoy Jerome Bettis, Eddie George, Eric Dickerson. These were bigger backs. I was a bigger back. And so I remember just being young, all my running back coach would always say, man, you need to get low. You need to get low. You need to lower your shoulders. And I'm like, bro, I can't get low. I'm tall. And it wasn't until I learned how to run tall is when I became great. And so that's why I looked up to those guys.
But you were drafted in the 7th round, like I mentioned. The Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl, they've got a 7th round back, and Isaiah Pacheco, and he's going to start his 2nd Super Bowl here. His running style is very unique. People say he runs like he's angry at the ground. What do you think of his running style? Is it wasted effort, or do you like it? Do you dig it?
I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's his style. It's his form. Yeah. It's his gait. Everybody swings different. You know what I mean? And the way he opens at his gait fits him. Yeah. It does look crazy, but as a defender, I only can imagine if you see somebody running wild, you're gonna second guess how you're gonna attack that or even if you want a piece of that. Right. So I think it helps him. And I love that he hasn't switched up. He's a good running back.
You say you love contact, right? I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, I can imagine being a defender and being like, man, I don't want to deal with this guy all day.
Exactly.
And he gets up, too, like he shot out of a rocket.
Yeah, every play, every run, every time he gets the ball, he's trying to make a statement. So I can always appreciate that.
Love it. All right, listen, we know you guys got to get moving on, but what team, Rashad, do you think has the edge in this game?
The edge, definitely the 49ers, without a doubt. They're the best team on the field. No question about that. But Kansas City got the best quarterback and the best tight end and the better coach.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, that's what evens it out.
Yeah. What's your final score prediction?
I'm going to go with 27-31 to the team in red.
To the team in red. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Marie, do you have a score prediction for this one?
Oh, I think it's going to be an exciting game. I don't have a score prediction, but I think you've got 2 great teams coming together and a great fan base for each of those. So I think the city is going to be rocking up and through the game. And again, Taste of the NFL is happening the day before.
Yeah.
It's a great place where fans can come together and celebrate the spirit of the game. They'll meet players like Rashad who will sign autographs. And if people are interested in learning more, they can go to tasteofthenfl.com.
Tasteofthenfl.com, a great cause, an important cause. Make sure you check it out. Thank you guys for stopping by our table. We appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Take care of yourselves. Rashad Jennings, Gen Youth.
Who's your team?
Check it out. He's a 49ers guy.
I'm going 49ers. I'm 49ers, man.
How about you?
I'm a Chiefs fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys are sitting right
It's
next
a little awkward.
Yeah.
We're doing all right.
It's all right, though.
Yeah.
Should be a great game, though.
Yeah. We all appreciate y'all. Take care. That was awesome, man.
That was.
I love talking to former players. It's just so cool to hear about their perspective.
Absolutely.
You know? And we got a cool one coming up here, man.
I can't wait to interview the Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds from the U.S. Air Force are going to be coming over here, and they're doing the flyover
on Sunday
for the Super Bowl. Have you ever been in obviously you've probably flown commercial. You ever gotten to fly in a cool jet like that before?
I would love to fly in a cool jet like that. I've never flown in one like that, Patrick. Not even.
How y'all doing? Okay, we got the Thunderbirds here.
How are you guys?
Welcome. I'm Patrick. This is Malcom. We're doing our fan-sided Special Olympics unified reporting here at the Super Bowl for the second year in a row. And can you guys introduce yourselves and let us know who you are?
Yeah, I'm Major Bryce Turner. I go by Triple. I'm Thunderbird 8. I'm the advanced pilot and narrator for the team.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Randy Winther. I go by Smoke. I'm the executive officer for the team.
You say you go by Smoke?
Yeah.
That's an awesome. I love it.
I love that. I love that nickname, Smoke.
I'm Natalie Winton. I go by Silk, and I'm Thunderbird 11, the maintenance officer for the team.
Love it. Smoke and Silk. And what do you go by?
I go by Triple.
Okay. Triple. Okay. Yeah, we all know about this from Top Gun. Right?
Yes.
You know, people. Do you know that Maverick is one of the most popular boys' names in the country right now?
I did not know that, but let's make Triple the most popular boy's name
Triple
right now.
I've been doing research on this. My wife's 6 months pregnant. We're having a boy. We're trying to figure out what the heck to name him. And I'm like, do we want to pick one of the popular names? Do we want to, and I'm like, Maverick. Like, the movie came out, and right up, it's like in the top 15 or something.
So Thunderbird 3, one of his sons is named Maverick on the team. So
okay.
we support it. We totally support it.
So how do you guys come up with is it your call sign? Is it? How do you guys come up with that?
Yeah.
Is it given to you? Do you make it up your own? Like, I had a buddy in college in my fraternity. He made up his own nickname. We all made fun of him. No, you can't make up your own nickname, but you can do that in the Thunderbirds?
No.
Okay, that's good.
We
That's good to know.
don't give ourselves names. Other people, like our friends, give our names to us.
Okay.
And it's usually it has a story or a background and some reason for why that's your call sign.
Right.
You hear that, Craig? That's how you get a nickname. So listen, how do you okay, so what if you don't have the nickname yet? You have to have a call sign, right?
Yeah,
so
what if you don't have one?
Is there anybody is there anybody you're sad, like you've been in there for a year and you're like, I'm Bob? You know?
We'll try to get them named earlier in the year. So Thunderbird 12, who is not here but has helped put this on for us, she didn't have a name before getting to the team, and so we named her about 2 weeks ago. So a month into her season, and then that'll hopefully stick with her for the next 2 years on the team.
Very cool.
I would love to find out from all of you, what's the toughest part about being on the Thunderbirds, trainer-wise, what do you have to do in order to be part of the Thunderbirds? Share a little bit about that.
Sure. So every single person from the lieutenant colonel, who is our commander, to the youngest senior airman that's on our team, of all 135 people, have to apply to be on the team. And then each job that they have, there's different requirements. So for us 12 officers, we kind of have a lengthy application process. Starting with the pilots, they have to have a minimum of 750 flight hours, which that takes about 4 to 5 years minimum to get there. And then us support officers, based on the different AFSCs or the Air Force codes that we're going into, it depends on whether they have certain specialty schools, different things like that. So it's not just something that you wake up that morning and you're like, I think I'm going to apply to be the Thunderbirds, Thunderbird 10 today. Some people do, which is awesome, but we also need to kind of vet those positions. We travel close to 250 days a year.
Wow.
So it's like baking a cake, if you will, where all of our personalities have to mesh. If we don't like something someone's doing, they need to be able to take that feedback and then get over it and then continue working with each other.
So it's like constructive criticism is basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right.
How do you guys when did you know that you wanted to be pilots? You know what I mean? I know a lot of kids are like, yeah, I want to be a pilot, and then it's like, oh, this is really hard.
Yeah, so that's very easy for me to answer because my dad was a pilot and my granddad was a pilot.
Oh,
so I pretty much had jet fuel running in my veins from birth.
Yeah.
So watching him fly all the time, I knew early on that that's what I wanted to do. So on our team of 12 officers, we have 8 pilots. So I'm one of them. We also have our executive officer and our maintenance officer here as well. So a lot of different jobs, and I'm sure they all had different means of getting there.
So for the executive officer role, am not that for like the regular Air Force career job that I have. I'm actually like a data analyst for the Air Force, but this is just like a special duty. So applying to something that was different and kind of took me out of my career field to just kind of break things up a little bit was why I applied.
Very cool.
Cool.
For me as a maintenance officer, this was mostly luck and timing. This is really one of the coolest jobs, one of the most challenging jobs. So when the opportunity presented itself, I threw my name in the hat and was very, very fortunate to be able to be a part of it.
So what's the easiest part of being on the Thunderbirds, and what's the toughest part?
The easiest part is the people that we work with. I think sometimes that's really challenging, but we are all marching in the same direction to achieve the same mission, and that unity of focus really, really helps us like run like a well-oiled machine. The toughest part is probably not being able to spend time with our families. We do travel a lot. We have children, we have wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, things like that, and it's just we don't get to see them very often, so it's a lot of sacrifice on their part. They're giving a lot of time that they could spend with us to our mission.
What's the term? Like, do you do it for a year and then you're done, or can you stay in for a long time? How does it work?
For officers, primarily it's a 2-year position, except for our number 8 position, which is triple over here. So he does the advanced pilot and narrator, and then he will progress into either a demo role as either a diamond or a solo pilot. For our enlisted members, which make up the majority of our team, there's only 12 officers, and we have 135 people on this team. It's between 3 and 4 years, depending on if they extend or get picked up for another assignment.
And you're at the Super Bowl, but you're not just here to hang out, right? You got something to do on Sunday? Can you talk to us through like how that works?
Share what you guys are going to do on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. So we will be flying over the Super Bowl at the national anthem. So even this morning, we went out there and we did 2 practice runs right over the stadium to make sure that we got our timing right, our optics right. And on Super Bowl Sunday, as soon as Reba finishes the anthem, you're going to hear 6 jets go roaring over the stadium.
Incredible.
How fast do these suckers go?
Yeah, how fast do they go?
The jet itself can go Mach 2, which means twice the speed of sound. But that would mean breaking the sound barrier, and we'd probably shatter all the windows in the stadium. I don't think a lot of people would be happy with us. So we'll be going a little slower than that, probably around 400 miles per hour is how fast we'll be going over the stadium.
I was wondering about that, because it looks slow when you're in the stadium when you see the planes fly, but obviously you're going pretty fast. You should fly over I think the 49ers are practicing right now. Mach 2, baby, right over. Do a low flyby too. They're already not happy with their field conditions, so you can.
They're kind of not happy about it.
That's really, really incredible.
That's incredible. I'm really honored. I got to talk to you guys today.
Yeah. What's it like going Mach 2?
Yeah. What's it like?
What happens to your body?
Yeah.
Ooh. So luckily the cockpit is a nice little protected bubble for you. So while the jet is experiencing a lot of force on the outside, it was designed to go that fast. So usually it does pretty well. Sometimes it starts ripping some paint off, which our maintenance officer doesn't like, so she doesn't let us go Mach 2. But yeah, a lot of changes in aerodynamics up there, but the jet can handle it.
How maneuver, like, are they more like straight line crafts, or can they do all kinds of,
all kinds of maneuvers?
What's their capabilities?
Yeah, so for the flyover, you're just going to see a flat pass, but our typical mission is we'll go out to execute air shows, and you'll see a full range of aerobatics for a nice show.
How dangerous is that? I mean, I know obviously everyone's the best at what they do, but you see air show things, bad things happen. I get scared for people. It's thrilling. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so fortunately, our crash rate or fatality rate has been not present in our squadron for a couple of years. Since 2018 was our last mishap. And we pretty much buy down that risk by doing winter training. So at the end of our show season in November, we'll swap out half of our demonstration pilots. So 3 pilots will leave. We'll get 3 new pilots, which 50% of like change is kind of a lot and pretty significant. So we'll start training. So 6 days a week, 2 times a day from November through February. We are still in winter training. We'll practice, and then come March, we have to get certified to do the demonstration. And so our goal by that time is to have, of the 6 airplanes, have flown 100 times or 100 times together, whether that be individual maneuvers, just maybe like a 4-ship or a 2-ship, but over about 100 times we want them to have flown so we can buy down that risk and not have that.
How many shows do you guys do a season? I mean,
around 30 different show sites that we try to visit in the nation and in Canada, and then about 2 air shows per weekend at each location.
That's incredible.
Now I mentioned you, I'm having a kid in 6 months. What do I need to do, right when he gets out of there to get him on the path to become a Thunderbird?
Name him Maverick, and everything else is
okay.
Just kidding. Truthfully, it'll depend on his interests and stuff like that. But at a younger age, getting them interested in aviation, flying, having that experience to make sure that that's the hobby that they're interested in, and then obviously join, ideally, the Air Force, whether that be ROTC, an OTS track, or even the academy, to obtain that pilot slot to then go on and become an Air Force pilot.
Do they have little Thunderbird models that I can get him, like toy?
Oh yeah, my son has too many, but air shows typically they'll be booths that I don't know where they get them. They're not sold by us or our squadron, but they have little models, little Lego models that you can build or all that type of stuff. But foam ones, hats,
Very cool.
Very cool.
Okay, so look, I don't want to overstep here, but can Malcom and I get honorary call signs?
Yeah.
Ooh, on the spot.
You've been talking to us for a few minutes now, clown might be a good one. Handsome. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know, Triple. You've done this more than me.
I'll give it a whack. So if you are, you say you're a clown, I would go with Joker.
Okay.
That's what I would call you.
That.
That's a pretty solid call sign. For you, I would probably name you Smooth.
Oh, I love
Silk,
that.
Smooth. I think it's a good one.
He is smooth. All right, y'all. So, big game. You're gonna be flying over. I don't know. You're allowed to make predictions since you're sort of involved in the theatrics. Who do you think's gonna win on Sunday?
Ooh. I think the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I think the 49ers.
Hey, you Triple, who we got?
I'm just hoping for a close game. I don't want to blow out.
You just hope everybody has fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Are you guys big NFL fans? Do you have favorite teams?
Yes, my team will never be seen in I like the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm from Minnesota, so I'm a diehard Minnesotan.
Great.
And so one day I hope and pray that they will.
You got Justin
make
Jefferson.
It.
You got
a fighting
Justin
chance.
Jefferson and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I'm more of a hockey fan.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize.
That's
I also
okay.
like a great game as well.
I grew up in a Washington household, so I have to root for them through thick and thin.
All right. Well, we appreciate you all coming
appreciate
by.
you guys.
Be safe.
Have
fun.
Have fun on
and
Sunday.
thank you. And
Thank
this
you guys
is
so
Joker
much.
and Smooth.
Joker and
Signing
Smooth.
off.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Appreciate y'all. Take care.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much.
Oh man, that was
amazing.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So
Thank
nice to meet you.
you.
Take care. Thanks for all the advice.
Joker, Smooth.
Joker and Smooth.
I like that.
I don't know if Richard, our producer, can change the lower third.
It's a low third,
But we need, Joker Smooth, maybe some wings.
Some wings
for us
or something.
What do you think, Malcom? Are you thinking after media, maybe Air Force, maybe Thunderbirds?
Yeah. I like the name Smooth. I like that.
I think it's great. I think
I love it.
You've got I think you've got a good radio voice.
I
nice
do.
baritone.
Yeah.
So you're doing good here on the podcast and on YouTube. Joker. See, I went ahead and called myself a clown, but Joker's a cool name, right?
It is cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, you think about makes me think about Batman.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I was gonna go in that direction also.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to get some T-shirts made up, Malcom.
Yeah.
Me and you. We'll go check out
part of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah. So
Smooth.
So you talked to a lot of people today. What's your take? I mean, we try to ask everybody what the prediction is for the game.
Yeah.
What are you hearing more? Is it 49ers? Is it Chiefs? Is it split?
It's split. You know, from what I've heard all day so far in the second half of the interviews, Patrick. I mean, I've heard like split 49ers Chiefs. You know, like it's just split. You know, it's just 50-50 down the middle.
Yeah. I'm hearing the same thing, man. Even the fans around here, it's starting to pick up a little bit. There's more fans here in the convention center, in the Mandalay Bay. I was actually counting them on the way over here as like a little experiment, unofficial. Yeah. Okay, 49ers won, Chiefs won, and it was like dead even fans as well.
Yeah, it was like dead even.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty fantastic. It's pretty exciting.
It's pretty exciting. I can't wait for Sunday. I can't wait to see what transpires out of that.
So who's your favorite person that you've interviewed so far today?
I mean, today, I gotta. Puka Nacua was awesome.
He was cool.
Very cool. Michael Penix Jr. was really, really cool. Justin Pugh, I gotta say, he's gotta be my number one right now.
Yeah, what was that?
I mean, just the way I was just shaking his hand, like, you know, like. He says that my hands are huge, like offensive lineman
have big hands. Yeah. I noticed that, man, because I've got my mom's like skinny wrists and small hands. Like I was a runner, you know, like I couldn't like palm a basketball or anything.
It's like Joseph Pugh said, I have offensive lineman hands, like the way I was shaking his hand. He's like, you know, you could be an offensive lineman too. I'm like, oh, okay.
These guys hurt me when I shake their hand.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not trying.
Right.
It's just, you know.
The way, it's probably the way you're gripping. You know,
might be.
It could be your grip as well, Patrick. I mean, you know, you gotta.
Yeah.
It's all right though.
So you could be an offensive lineman. So remind me what sports you play in Special Olympics.
So I play basketball, Patrick, bowling, track, and golf.
I heard you talking about the bowling earlier, and you said you haven't bowled a 300 yet, but you've been close.
I've been close. My highest game actually was a 190. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Just, you know, just gotta get better. You know, like, you know, I'll get better. You know, with each practice, just getting better.
Do you spin the ball? Like you know, it's hard. I've never been like competitive bowling. So whenever I go, it's just like fun. Like I'm going with my friends.
Well,
I just paid, and I'm afraid to try to spin it.
And the key is, you know, as a bowler, a lot of times you want to look at where your arrows are because you want to look at the first and second arrow. You know, however you roll your ball, and you also want to make sure that you're bowling your thumb up your nose like a handshake kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like a handshake.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's how you got to bowl. You know, like thumb up your nose like a handshake.
I got to give it a try. I'm always like, I'm going to do it, and it's going to go straight in the gutter, and I'm going to be mad because, you know what I mean? Like, I need to practice. I need to practice bowling.
And the key to bowling too, Patrick, is about having fun.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have fun with it, then it defeats the purpose.
Yeah, yeah. And so you said you do tennis as well?
I do basketball, bowling, golf, and track.
Oh, golf and track. What do you run in track? I was a runner.
I ran 200-meter run. I did 100 meters, and I did the 4x100-meter relay.
Oh, the 4x1. Were you what leg in the 4x1?
I was the anchor. I was the last.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you've got some wheels.
I got some wheels in mine.
I love it. I love it. What about legs? What's your 100 time?
I ran 100 in like between 17 and 20 seconds, I believe it was. So I was really, really fast.
Yeah.
I'm very fast.
Yeah. I was never fast. That's why I did distance running. I ran cross country, you know, because my goal was like, all right, I'm not I'm not more athletic than everybody else, but maybe I can outlast them. I noticed this in elementary school. Like we would be doing, they were like, do like 4 laps around the playground.
Right.
And I always lost all the races, but I noticed by like lap 3, all the fast kids were like out of shape, and I was catching up to the fast kids, and I was like, I have endurance, natural endurance. So I did that. So I did cross country track. I did the mile and the 2 mile.
Nice.
And but I never liked doing the 2 mile. It's too many laps. It's boring. 8 laps.
But at the same time, you get yourself a break afterwards. You know, you're drinking a lot of water because because when you drink, because you gotta stay hydrated after running so much.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So what about basketball? What position you play in?
I play power forward. And last year we had our unified basketball team, the St. Lucie Bulls. We actually went undefeated. We did not lose one game all year. We went 7-0 last year.
Fantastic.
And we beat a unified team out of Miami-Dade. Very physical in the beginning. We led by 3 points at half, and then my teammate John Allen III, who's on my team, he actually knelt a 3-pointer from beyond half court.
Oh wow!
We actually extended our lead from 3 to 6, and we actually won the game by 9 points.
Are you a range shooter? I mean, I know a lot of power forwards like to post up and stuff. But
I like to post up. I like to shoot, and that sort of thing. I like to dunk. I play smart basketball without fouling. That's what my coach preaches us. Our coach will teach us, make sure we play aggressive, but stay out of foul trouble.
I can't dribble. How are your handles?
My handles are pretty good.
I could only do it with my right hand. I wasn't the kids that could
go
to their
I'm pretty
left.
good. I can cross over. I can cross over some defenders. I try to pump fake. I try to get open as much as I can. I remember one year, Patrick, I played 3-on-3, which is like half-court basketball. I scored 38 out of the 40 points my team.
Man.
The other team was just leaving me wide open, and I kept scoring every time. The middle of the lane was not even, was
occupied.
It was just not even occupied. Scoring every time. Teammates kept feeding me the ball every time, kept scoring. It was like 38 out of 40 points.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool when you have a run like that. I didn't have a lot of sports glory, but I enjoy doing sports, cross country, track. I really enjoyed the social aspect of it, which I know a lot of people really like at Special Olympics too. It's not just that you're competing,
but
you
it's
get
also,
to make friends.
You're also making friends, and not only that, you're learning so many valuable lessons in Special Olympics. So we always say before every competition is let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Yeah.
So it's something that Eunice Kenny Shriver, the founder of Special Olympics, started. So that's what we always say before any competition. So at the same time, it's not about winning or losing, it's about having fun.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important.
But at the same time, it is competitive, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think Special Olympics, I remember we did a video on Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and she was very adamant that let's give trophies, let's give medals, let's have competition, let's push everybody.
The first Special Olympics games were actually started in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, were they? That's where I live.
They were started in Chicago, Illinois at Soldier Field. And Eunice Kennedy Shriver, she founded a day camp called Camp Shriver.
Love it. You'll have to check out, maybe one of our producers can drop the video that we made a few years back about Eunice Kennedy Shriver in the chat. I mean, we're going to go a little while longer here. They're probably mad at me for giving them homework, but I know we mentioned it, we brought it up, and I know they were really proud of it. It's a really good look at the history of Special Olympics, how she got involved, why she got involved, and it continues, and now it's this massive organization.
Yeah, it's massive, and you guys, and also Special Olympics, you got to understand too, people with disabilities, were institutionalized back in the day. I don't know if you guys knew this, but people with disabilities were institutionalized back in the day. They were called names back in the day, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And to this day, I mean, Special Olympics has been a tremendous organization that I'm so honored and grateful to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're obviously here at Fanside, we're partnered with Special Olympics. We have been for years. It's something that's near and dear to our hearts. And I know we mentioned some of the other organizations that our fantastic guests are a part of. If you want to be part of Special Olympics, there's all kinds of ways you can get involved. A couple years ago, we went down to Orlando, fan-sided, and we volunteered at the Special Olympics down there.
Yeah.
That was really gratifying and a lot of fun. We got to meet so many different people. Can you tell everybody about the pins? It's because this is something I didn't know about. And a family gave me a pin. It was so cool.
So basically what happened was a couple of years ago, we had the Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando. So all the different states from around the country, and we have athletes from the Caribbean for the very first time ever.
Oh, nice.
So they were giving out pins, and so we all were giving out pins from all the different states and everything like that. So it was just one of those camaraderies and that sort of thing. It's just seeing all different athletes from around the country and globally as well too.
Got it. Yeah, it is. And as I mentioned, if you want to support, volunteering is a way. Another way is, and something that I've done in the past, is you can become a sustaining member of Special Olympics, and it's a way for you, we have all the stuff we spend money on, right? We buy coffee. You got 15 streaming platforms that you're on,
Yeah.
And why not take one of those out and put it towards something that's doing some good, that's helping people.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing, and then you can feel that you're making a difference. So cut out the Starbucks run. Maybe become a sustaining member of Special Olympics, and then you kick them a little bit every month. And sometimes it's hard for people to make a big donation at one time, right? Everybody's working hard.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, we always, Special Olympics is the volunteers are the backbone of what we do. Yeah. We always need volunteers, no matter what the situation is, no matter what sport it is. We always need volunteers because, like I said, Patrick, they're the backbone of what we do.
Yeah.
And without the support of those volunteers, I wouldn't be at Media Row or being an athlete in the Special Olympics, because without those volunteers, they're the backbone of what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's all kinds of ways to get involved. So make sure, check out the Special Olympics website and find a way. And you never know when they might be coming. And there's local, right? Like there's local Special Olympics around where people can get involved where they live.
There's local Special Olympics they can get involved with. They can also be volunteers. All they have to do is they would have to fill out a volunteer form, and then they would have to call their local Special Olympics chapter and see how they would get involved and things of that nature.
That's great. That's great. By the way, we got a super chat in the chat from my guy Flapjack. Look, Patrick, your call sign is Joker now. If Casey wins, you have to get a tattoo Joker card. Oh yeah. I don't know. I have one tattoo, and it's for my parents. But I don't know if my wife, I don't know if she would go for that one.
Yeah, I'll have to get a smooth tattoo myself too.
Smooth tattoo. Do you have any tattoos?
I do not, and I would love a smooth tattoo. I love the nickname.
See, I'm going to get in trouble here now. I'm making Malcom think tattoos. Somebody's gonna get mad. Smooth would be a good tattoo.
Yeah, it is.
Just text.
Yeah, just text. Right
on the shoulder, smooth.
Right.
A Joker card, Flapjack. I don't know, man. Are you serious? Who said they would donate? How much? I'm going to need to know how much. Because if it ain't more than I would give, I'll just donate to Special Olympics.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you guys want to get a pool going.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get a pool going, I don't know. If you guys get $1,000 to Special Olympics, I'll get a small Joker tattoo. $1,000.
Yeah.
A small one. It's gonna be small.
I'll do a smooth tattoo, as well.
I probably should have went a little bit higher, but
right.
I want, it's got to be obtainable, right? We're gonna get the donation.
It has to be obtainable. Absolutely right, Patrick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you guys collect up the money,
Yeah.
$1,000. I'll go. I'll get a Joker tattoo if the parlor will let me. I'll live stream it for you guys. Yeah, they hurt, man. It hurts.
Hey, it's no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Maybe these guys will come through.
Yeah.
They're pretty good about supporting us. So
Absolutely.
I'm a little nervous now. But
I wouldn't be nervous too much, Patrick. Honestly, I wouldn't.
Hey, look, I wouldn't be the first person to go to Las Vegas and come home with some regrettable ink. So
right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get back to some football talk here. Kansas City Chiefs. You were breaking down the game for me last year, and I remember I asked you who was going to be the X factor for the Philadelphia Eagles. You said C.J. Gardner-Johnson back then.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the X factor for the Chiefs this year?
Oh, for the Chiefs, for me, it's going to be Isaiah Pacheco, the running back for Kansas City. That's going to be my X factor. And for San Francisco, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey.
So the big running back game.
Yeah, the big running back game. Yes, it's going to be the running backs that are going to decide who wins this one.
Who do you think is going to have more yards?
I am going to go Christian McCaffrey.
Like all purpose or just on the ground?
On the ground, I'm going to go McCaffrey.
Okay.
All purpose, I'm going to go
Pacheco. Oh, interesting. They like to throw to McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, man. I think that could be a fun one. I know there's a lot of focus on the quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes.
But also too, Patrick, I mean, outside the quarterbacks, there's gonna be an X factor for either side.
Right.
It's just gonna have to be which team has the ball last. That's gonna win the game. That's gonna be the case.
So you think it's gonna be that close, one-score game?
Mm-hmm. Gonna be one score. It's gonna come down to a defensive turnover, or somebody creates a turnover. That to me is gonna decide who wins this game.
That's the way it is, man. In these playoff games, it's
And
it's
obviously
a
the
slim
Super
margin.
Bowl is always high scoring, so
Right.
you never know.
Right. This could be an epic one.
Yeah.
When these two teams played 4 years ago, who did you think was going to win at that time when it was Jimmy G and Patrick Mahomes' first
I
Super
thought
Bowl?
the Chiefs were going to win that
You thought
one
the
4
Chiefs were
years
on the
ago.
Chiefs?
I wanted the Chiefs to win 4 years ago in Miami.
Yeah.
And I picked the Chiefs to win that one, and I was absolutely right.
I wish I could have been at that game.
I wish I could have been. I wish I could have been at that one in Miami 4 years ago too.
Yeah.
It would have been nice, and it was close to my own backyard too. I lived in South Florida. I was in South Florida during that time, and I live in Port St. Lucie, so Miami's like only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
From where I'm at. So it would have been nice, but hey, it's all good.
That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
it's all
How do
good.
you like it down there in Florida? Because I live in Chicago, man.
I mean,
and let me tell you.
Florida can be brutally hot in the summer.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the summers were brutal last year.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was like 90 degrees every single day.
Yeah.
And you're sweating bullets.
Humidity, right?
Yeah,
too.
humidity is like it doesn't, it's a factor, and it's very like not even sticky. Like the air is just so thin in Florida. It's like, the summers are brutal in Florida, but the winters can be rainy one time. It could be cold, so you just never know.
I'll tell you, look, I don't like the heat, but it sounds better to me than Chicago, and I love Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful in the summer, but once you get to about the end of December, the sun goes away. It doesn't come back until May.
Right.
Right. It's just gone. Sometimes you can see it behind the clouds.
Yeah.
It gets dreary. It's daylight for about 4.5 minutes a day. It starts snowing, and then it doesn't ever melt. And if it does melt, it turns into this like gross black slush.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with any of that.
Right. See, in Florida, it's like we have to deal with the brutal heat every single summer.
Yeah.
Me and Brian, we have to deal with it all summer long. It's like, and especially when I work at Publix, when I have to go outside and grab carts all day in the heat, it is brutal.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like last summer, I'm working at Publix, I'm grabbing all the carts, and all of a sudden, it's like, it was brutal. I was sweating from up here to every, it was brutal.
And people don't put it back in the corral, and then you got to go and get it.
No,
Those people are the worst.
it's like, it makes my work even harder.
How we doing? We
How
got
you doing,
Kevin
Kevin?
Blackistone.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet
Kevin.
you.
Malcom. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys coming by. I'm Patrick.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Kevin.
Thank you.
I'm Patrick. This is my guy, Malcom Harris-Gowdie. Here at Fansided, we do unified coverage with Special Olympics every year.
Outstanding.
So Malcolm's our reporter this year.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I
Kevin,
didn't catch
it's
your
our
name.
pleasure. Torrence, man.
Torrence?
Nice to meet you,
Torrence Banks.
Nice to meet you.
And you're a student, correct?
Yeah, I'm a grad student.
Okay. So give us the lowdown. I read a little bit about this, but what are you guys here promoting?
Promoting a project on youth tackle football.
Okay.
So we all know that the benefits associated with youth tackle football are, learning teamwork, building friendships, and then possibly like earning a college scholarship. But when you play this sport, you open yourself up to the chance of getting injured.
Yeah.
So what we did was we commissioned a poll to kind of get the national perspective from parents on how they view youth tackle football, and what we found from the results, it showed that Black and Hispanic parents were more likely to view the possibility of getting a scholarship or playing professionally at the benefit. They were more likely to allow their kids to play in the 5 to 9 age group, and they were also more likely to be in favor of scaling tackling in practice down to 30 minutes. And in addition, we sent some reporters to some football youth tackle football programs in Fort Washington, Maryland, and Lexington, Mississippi, and Georgia as well.
Okay. And did you infer anything as to why there's this disparity between the idea of my kids, if they play, they're going to be able to get a scholarship?
Well, I think with it's like NIL and stuff like that. I think what the results show is that that maybe Black and Hispanic parents may be more attuned to the benefits that they could see down the line.
Got it.
Yeah, and I think we know how expensive a college education is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we know how the stories that sports journalists like to tell in broadcasts or with the written word that the public sometimes likes to latch on to is that story that says that this kid who earned this scholarship to this college is the first person in his family to be able to go to college. And so that warms our heart. And so many households, black and brown households, that story resonates with them. And if we just walk around, you've been here for several days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see who's walking around here,
Yep.
who you all pull in to interview.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many black athletes made famous on the gridiron, right? So this is who people see as that opportunity to climb another rung up on the social ladder. So we understand that, but we just wish that more people would keep in mind that kids need to be kept safe,
Right.
or safer, right?
So, Kevin, I would love to ask you, what advice do you have for me as a journalist?
To be a journalist?
As a journalist, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we need to tell these stories. Journalism is about truth telling,
Right.
and sometimes we need to balance these stories that glorify athletics and athleticism with the truth of the sacrifice that is behind them. And if there's a segment of this society who views athletics, and I should say dangerous athletics, as a better way to prosper than other ways, earning a scholarship in engineering or earning a scholarship in English proficiency or foreign language or whatever, then we have a problem.
Right.
And so I think that, I love football. I'm sure you all love football too, right? I mean, that's why, that's one of the reasons that we're here. And we'll be glued to the game on Sunday night, as we always are. And we know the risks that are inherent with the game. But we need to put up guardrails for youth who participate in this dangerous game, this dangerous sport.
Right.
Is this the disparity between certain parts of the population who, I think I read the article today, and so forgive me if I'm wrong, but was it that some of the black and Hispanic families were a little less concerned or a little less unaware of some of the risks of football?
Well, I think that's overall that's kind of what we got. Well, like in terms of like not being aware of the risk, or there's like when we ask parents like more detailed questions about like the impact that like more detailed questions about like the like for example, like when we ask questions about like we ask parents what the median number of head impacts that children that can sustain in youth tackle football. Like a lot of parents respond like they didn't know the answer. So we all know that people like the sport is dangerous, but like when we go past that, a lot of parents like don't necessarily like know the information. So I think what that says is that youth tackle football programs need to like put the onus maybe on themselves to provide parents with that information more so, and then also like programs like NFL Heads Up. Like I talked to Solomon Brandon, who used to he was a former NFL player, played in the first Super Bowl. He used to work for NFL Heads Up, and he said that that when he was working with NFL Heads Up, that they weren't reaching all the youth tackle football programs that they need to reach in order to make as big of an impact. So maybe the NFL needs to expand their outreach with that program.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Like the NFL wants to get kids involved in the sport. They want to keep the next generation of fans and kids coming through.
Right.
And I know you asked about, you mentioned earlier when we were discussing this, the very young age groups. And as I understand it, there's a certain point where it's even more dangerous for smaller kids to be playing tackle football. Where is that line? Do we know exactly where that line is?
So the Concussion Legacy Foundation suggested that that 14 is the age that they should start playing. Because, if a kid doesn't want to play beyond the high school level. At some point, I guess they need to show that they have the ability to. But like if you play flag at a younger age, you can still like learn the fundamentals of the sport, and it could actually make in the long run make you more comfortable playing tackle football later on.
These guys are your brain's still developing at this point, right? It's definitely not the time that you want to be taking shots to the head.
Absolutely not. And just a few days ago, the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, came out with a study of adolescent football players, tackle football players, and found that in fact they suffer some forms of brain damage. And so to me, that should be enough. That's warning enough. So if the medical professionals are saying that you shouldn't play tackle football until you're age 14, we can't obviously kids aren't going to protect themselves.
Right.
We have evidence that parents are not necessarily going to protect their kids because they believe that there is a bigger reward down the line. Then somebody needs to come to their aid and protect them from themselves. And so we need to continue to figure out ways to make this game safer, and particularly to make the game safer for the youngest who play it.
I think that's an excellent point. And you have kids who are at different stages in their development. It's like me if I went out there and tried to, I was sitting here next to Shannon Sharp earlier. His arms are about the size of my torso, which is saying something because I've got a body by pizza.
Yeah.
And he would even now he would break me in half. He would seriously injure me if he wanted to tackle me. And you see sometimes you'll see these clips of Pee Wee football.
Yeah.
And you'll see some kid who looks like Ray Lewis out there, and some kid who looks like maybe he's still got Velcro on his shoes, just lighting them up. And there's no way that that's safe and good for these kids.
No, and that's one of the suggestions is that adolescents be grouped by size and weight, which is what I recall coming up playing. We played organized football based on you were grouped by how much you weighed. And maybe that's one way to mitigate some of the damage. But yet and still, it's tackle football, and no matter what size you're hitting or being hit by, the danger is still there.
Yeah.
So, I want to get your both thoughts on the game on Sunday. Share about the matchup between the Niners and the Chiefs, and what do you guys think? Who do you guys think the X Factors are going to be for both teams, or
X Factors?
Yeah.
I think that Brock Purdy is going to have to manage the game. When Jimmy Garoppolo, was last in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he turned the ball over a couple of times, and then down the stretch when he had to make the plays, he wasn't able to. So I think if Brock can help the 49ers keep the game close, then down the stretch he's going to have the opportunity to kind of make the big plays to help them win it. And I'm rooting for Kyle Shanahan because I was in Atlanta, did a 28-3 comeback.
Yeah.
So I do remember
That's
that.
tough, man.
That's tough.
I hope he's able to get his ring.
How about you, Kevin?
Oh, X Factor.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I would have to lean on. I'd have to lean on Brock Purdy too. He's got a ton of weapons, right? He's got McCaffrey out of the backfield.
Yep.
Kittle as a tight end.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel is whatever he wants to do, wherever he wants to be on the field. Ayuk. That's a lot of weapons, and so if he can play a clean game, I think they win. But all of this is crazy to be picking against a generational talent at quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm just I don't know what am I saying here? How can I not pick? But I believe that, and I think that Kansas City has struggled this year to put up points. They struggled to be the explosive team that they've been in the past.
Right.
And I think that in this game there's just more offensive firepower on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So we'll see. Their defense, Kansas City's defense has been great.
Yeah.
If they can pressure Brock Purdy into making mistakes, then they will probably win this game.
I want to say they've been giving up an average of just over 13 points in the playoffs, and that's going up against that explosive Miami team and Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. So they've been really impressive. If they can do it one more time, I think now you throw in that Mahomes X factor, and it's going to be hard for San Francisco. But boy, San Francisco can hit you on any given play, especially with CMC back there. He's a bad man.
And San Francisco can just throw at you so many different weapons. They have Samuels. They have Ayuk. They have
Kittle.
They have Kittle. They have Kyle Juszczyk on the outside. I mean, you have weapons all over the place.
Yeah. All right. So before we let you all get out of here, can you just tell us one more time, like, what was the impetus behind doing this study, and how many people worked on it?
So it was like a team of 12 reporters. So like when we were looking at coverage of like youth tackle football, we noticed one area where that didn't get a lot of coverage was why Black and Hispanic parents want to play the sport, or more so like there haven't been like a lot of coverage like on the risk versus reward like analysis involving that specific group.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of did the study.
Awesome. Do you want to shout out any of your colleagues who you worked on the study with? A chance that that maybe couldn't be here.
I'm gonna say shout out to Sabna Bansil, who she did 2 stories on using Power 5 data and scraping that data and using it to see which cities produce a significant amount of like Power 5 players.
Yeah.
Play the next level.
Awesome. And where can people find the work?
CNSMaryland.com, and if you can probably find it if you look up the Shari Povich Center for Sports Journalism.
Awesome.
Well.
Awesome. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming by.
so
And
much.
we expect to see you and your colleagues here on Radio Row with us next year.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin, so much.
All right. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you.
Thank you guys for stopping by. Absolutely.
Yeah. Pleasure to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course. Take care.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kevin.
thank you.
All right. When you guys leaving?
I think this is our last one for the day.
This is our last one for the day.
But
you're back tomorrow.
we're going to be in the Malcolm and I are going to be in the workroom for the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you all covered it before?
Yeah, Malcolm was here with us last year.
I was here
Yeah.
with them last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. It's it's an event unlike any other. I know they say that about the Masters. The Masters is another golf tournament.
Yeah.
Super Bowl's
This
great.
tops all the sporting events overall, Kevin. I agree with you on
Oh
that.
yeah. It's quite the event.
Yeah.
So
It's a spectacle.
enjoy it. Thank you.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. It's
Yeah.
a spectacle.
Yeah.
Especially media.
Yeah.
Especially Radio Row.
Yeah,
My boy
indeed.
Rob Parker over there.
Yeah.
My man.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Take care, y'all.
Good.
Yeah,
Take
we'll
care.
see you, man. Take
See
care.
you guys soon. All right.
Yeah, take care, man.
Take care.
Kevin Blackistone, man, doing really great work. I mean, it's just so cool. It's really important, and I know you getting an opportunity. The next generation of journalists do good work, shine light and tell the truth, find out what's going on in different communities. So important.
That was a great conversation right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really interesting. And sometimes it's not that they're not going to necessarily have all the answers from the study.
They're not.
Right? But they're going to say, here's what's going on. And now we're a little bit more enlightened. And what's the next step?
Yeah,
How do we protect these kids?
What's the what's the next springboard to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that's it. Are we good to wrap up, Richard? All right, Malcolm. It's been an incredible day. I'm very grateful I got to spend part of it with you. I know you were Sterling most of the day, but first time you and I have done the table together, so it's been awesome. Great work, my friend.
Great work with you as well, Patrick, and looking forward to doing this again tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow morning, bright and early here on Radio Row, Stacking the Box, the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Potentially, I'll be getting a tattoo at some point, so we'll see if the guys in the Discord come through.
Yeah.
You got to come through with a grand for Special
Yes,
Olympics.
come through.
All right,
and I'll get one, for myself a Smooth.
Okay,
I'll
Smooth.
get a Smooth one.
So for my guy Smooth, this is Joker. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Take care, guys.